is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go. Finding life along the way, melodies we haven't played. No, I don't want no rest. Echoing around these walls, fighting to create a song. I don't wanna miss a beat. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go.
Hey, Twin Lance. That's Dorian, right?
Hmm.
Okay, good.
Yep. The Twin Lance's story. Hello, chat.
Hey.
You know, I really love how that artist captured our essences.
Dude, I make that fucking expression, right? Alright, here's the thing, right? My hair naturally parts like that the way it does there, right? So every time I get a commission done, I'm expecting my fucking, like, bangs to come through, and it never does. They capture the way my hair actually falls, and I love it and I fucking hate it at the same time, so...
Like, I fucking love that artist for literally capturing us so perfectly.
Oh yeah, no, I showed people the rough cut, and they're like, oh my god, it's you. And I'm like, yeah, pretty much.
Well, I told you my first reaction was I died laughing. Then I cried laugh. Because I could literally picture you doing that.
Yeah.
And then I'm
It's a
like,
good thing that,
don't
it's a good
change
thing they
anything.
have.
This is perfect.
It's a good thing, right? They have wireless control pads now, because you can, like, you know, whip someone in the face with one of those things, right?
What?
Actually, I would, yeah. It's strategic, right? My mom used to play Mega Bomberman with us for the Sega Genesis, right? And my mom, right, does this whenever she fucking, like, does stuff on the control pad. So she'd, like, hit people in the fucking face sitting next to her. We had to, like, sit on the other side of the room because my mom was so fucking savage, right? She kept winning because she would just biff us one at the right moment. She's like, I'm so good at this game. It's like, yeah, we come away with actual fucking injuries and shit, right? Thanks, Mom.
Oh, I love it. Yeah,
There we go.
no, it's goofy, but
Oh yeah, no.
it's so fucking lovable. Like, it is so perfectly us in every fucking way. I just...
Mm-hmm. They did a good job, bitch.
I gave him a really good tip, too. I gave him, like, a 50% tip, because I'm like, this is perfect.
Nice. My 3D model's actually done. I just need to I have one animation. It finally got finished, and so I've got to hammer out the format because I need to make stuff with it. So I need the full animation, uncut in, like, high definition, so I can scale it down and up and whatnot in various, you know, encodings and whatnot.
Yeah.
So
My artist, see, I hired him in April, early to mid-April.
Mhm.
He needed to delay it because he was overbooked and he didn't realize how long certain other projects would take. Fine. No big deal. We delayed it 2 weeks. And then he got COVID.
Oh shit, dude.
Then he got over COVID. Then he had back pain, where he could only work so many hours a day.
I feel that.
He didn't even have the base mesh to the point where you could even start the base to even polish it. It was not even completely done yet. He didn't even have the feet done. He had legs, the chest, and the tits.
Ooh.
And that was it. And it was rough. Very rough. Like, I've seen a 3D artist friend of mine get to that point in maybe an hour. And that was it. That's all he had done. And in over 3 months, that was it. And he stopped responding. He stopped giving updates. And I'm like, enough's enough. So I reached out to this one girl who does 3D modeling.
Hey, Raven.
And fucking amazing. Like, she's done a really cool Night Elf from World of Warcraft, and she's done one Apprentice Mage one for one game. Amazing. And she's already made more progress in 2 days than he ever did.
See, I'm going with I've got the guy who does It's a Gundam's 3D animations doing my stuff because he's a really good friend of mine. Yeah, he's a really good friend. I've known him for I've known him for years, and I've been helping him like learn some of the 3D animation stuff. Like, he picks it up on his own, right? But just whenever he needs to confer to kind of Chaza, yeah, everyone knows Chaza, right? It's basically he's a quality bloke, right? And he's one of my biggest fans. So he did that for me on the cheap, and fucking I love it. Like,
this girl's doing it. It's not going to be an animation one. It's going to be a 3D print one.
Oh,
we can take that one and we can refine it eventually down the road with another artist, and it'll be fun. So,
well, alright, Chaza made mine, right? Like, fucking, he basically used my one as a means to refine his talent, right? Which I fucking appreciate so much, right?
Well, every
so
artist
he added in...
takes what they do, and each project, each gig, each client lets them refine their work. That's the way it should be.
That's the way it should be, right? But he hasn't had an opportunity to work on breast physics, so my one's got like really good titty physics, right? And on top of that, he's not worked on hair physics because he knew I'd be jumping around a lot because it was one of the requirements. I have to move around a lot, so he's got all this fucking like rigging on my hair and tits. It just makes everything look really good, and I'm fucking chuffed with it. I want to get to the point where I can actually refine those animations down. Because then the actual base model is set up almost to be a VTube model, but I just don't have time to start up that shit.
Mine was designed to be like a splash screen, like in an RPG, where there's slight animation, but that's it. I will always have webcam at times and no cam at other times. It's just my style. But a 3D print one, like the Shadow Lord one I did, perfect. It's a good place to start.
No, that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, so I'm
and
getting
she's
it
only
down.
half the price of what he was. So basically, I get the start point at half the price, and I can get a better artist who's not 23 years old and still a newbie to do the good one. Hey, Bridget.
Hi. Yeah, it's taken me a while. Both Chaza and I have been busy. He's basically doing Gundam's animations all the time.
Well, he's had so much stuff he could do content on. So like,
yeah,
take
that's what I mean.
advantage
Like,
of it.
and then now he actually gave me a shout out on his podcast he's doing right now. So shout out to Chaza on this chat right now, because he's awesome. Go check it. He does a bunch of like small animation videos just to test out his stuff, but his main draw is that he does 3D animations for some really big YouTube channels. So
Do we have a
he's
link
been
for him?
I can get it for you. I don't know offhand. I have not had time to go through and actually like do shit like that, as we're gonna talk about during the stream.
Yeah, one of the new things is done is we did get the pixel art done for the baby dragon, little wyvern golem.
Baby
And
dragon.
you can see the little sleepy one there on the screen.
The baby dragon.
So adorable.
If you use time wizard, he turns into Thousand Dragon.
Fuck you. Plain and simple.
You know I'm gonna keep quoting Joey Wheeler all night.
This is how long it took for me to finally ban Frozen. Only so many episodes. That's it. You don't ban your ass. She's gonna
so it's not
finally
like-
be canceled, and the only person who can successfully do it.
Is it
YouTube couldn't. Twitter couldn't.
I mean, Twitter couldn't. I got fucking perma-banned from
Yeah,
Twitter.
but people still talk about you and remember you, so you were never fully canceled.
Right? The legend lives on, right?
Yeah.
What's all these fucking orange ones? What's these blue ones are in here?
But I'll
There
just
we go.
finish the job finally.
I don't give a shit. Like, fucking only doing me a favor, apparently. I haven't had time to do my my fucking YouTube stream. I've been on vacation because of all the shit that's gone down. So, we can talk about that at some point.
Yeah, with my medical stuff and having an ambulance called multiple times and kind of. Oh, I'm sorry, Bridget. You have
Actually,
no luck.
That's a point. Can I double check something real quick?
Yeah.
We're getting torrential rains here, so let me just double check. It's nope, it stopped. Okay, cool. We were getting we're expecting like a shit ton of downpour because we're in a drought, and that happens.
God, we need so much rain. Like the farmers in the Midwest, especially the Dakotas, Minnesota, and Wisconsin, fucking hate this lack of rain. Like,
It's
we've
been a
gotten a
hot
little
one.
bit, which is nice, but we need like a little bit more.
We've got like fuck all. Like this is the first time it's rained in like a month.
Yeah.
So,
like, the hay crop.
it's been brutal.
What should be like the third cutting, is atrocious.
Oh, my hair's too tight. There we go.
Some are getting like half a bale an acre, like a round bale.
Yeah.
And typically you're getting like a couple bales per acre. Like when you're down to getting one to like half of one an acre, that's not good. Like it's no wonder meat prices are going up and food prices in general because people are just shit. It's a crap situation.
Yes. That's always blame people. That's always a safe bet.
Because people don't know how to react to this shit, and this was instead of managing it well, let's just have a problem and just make everyone else miserable. Because yeah, we're all struggling financially, and let's just make things more expensive. That's really brilliant.
No. We're trying to. I just took one of those surveys, right? Because I got hit up by like one of those professional surveys. It's like, how you feeling about the recovery of the economy? And I was like, fucking, yeah, right. Like,
Recovery? What recovery?
I know. I was like, fucking, that's some boomer shit right there, right?
Like, I still laugh. Like, a stupid journalist does an article about chicken and how like good it is with restaurants and like plugging like Chick-fil-A and other places, and then the demand of chicken skyrockets to the point where every chicken company in the United States is shorting everyone on chicken because they can't produce enough. And then you get the problem where beef shortages start happening now, and then you get like Taco Bell where they can't keep meat products, so you have to have lettuce tacos.
See, here's the thing though. I
so
can already
dumb.
see the smug ass vegans fucking whining about that, but not realizing. Like they're like, oh look how we fucking are, right? We don't have to rely on meat. It's so expensive.
Yeah, but then
right?
beans start being used, and then their products start getting shorted, and now they're upset.
Yep. And then they don't like it when you throw this smog right back in their fucking face, right?
So
I ain't
like
gonna
this has
tolerate that
become a giant mess, and it's not fun dealing with it because everyone's upset. They're blaming the manufacturer. It's like they can only do so much.
They're not God, right? Like fuck me.
People and
need to, like-
machines can only slaughter things so fast and have it be healthy and allowed to be sold according to USDA laws and rules.
Yeah, like.
Do you want to
dude,
get
all right.
salmonella, or do you want to be able to eat it and enjoy it? I'd like to think the latter, but I mean,
No, people. All right, I talk about this on my cooking streams a lot, right? Anyone who's in our audience can who watches my streams know about this. I talk about like people are so fucking ignorant of where food comes from, right? Like I saw this commercial, right, where it was this father was like he was talking to his kid, and his little kid's like, I love chickens. Are chicken nuggets made from chickens? And I'm like, go for it. Fucking tell her, bitch. Fucking tell her that fucking she's eating her favorite fucking animal. Do that shit. Fucking kill that child's dream, dude. And he's like, no. And then it's a whole commercial for fucking vegan chicken nuggets, which is a fucking misnomer, right? You know?
chicken nuggets from most places are literally just chicken breasts cut way down, and like all the nice rest of the chicken breast is tossed into ground chicken with the other scraps. It's horrible.
Yeah, I can't
It's
like
such
yeah.
a waste.
Oh, I know. This is why like I do the chicken tenders, but even then, like,
Though
hey,
that
Madre.
at least is just bifurcated breasts, which is fine.
Yeah, they could probably
a
separate
lot
that shit
less
better than I
waste.
can. Like, hang on. Oh, there we go. Talking about mechanically separating the breast, right?
At least the one joke lately with food stuff, and I hate to say it, is it's a fucking TikTok bullshit. Is the whole hot dog or bologna is literally just a pancake version of hot dogs. It's like, it's true.
Yeah, it's actually true. They made from
True.
the same shit. Yeah,
It's
like
the same process.
yeah,
Hey,
same process. pretty much
congrats,
same stuff.
Madre. You got a job. Good job.
Good job, bitch.
Always awesome.
We've had a card drew,
Yeah.
so
I'm just
excuse
letting us finish our thoughts for a second here. All right. What scared you so bad recently that you screamed like a small child?
me first.
Yeah.
All right, this will actually lead up to the first thing we're going to talk about, which is being unemployed. So you're next, Bree.
I wouldn't say I screamed like a small child, but I did yell in frustration because of money being so fucking tight this month, having to pay for my daughter's funeral and everything. But we're not going to get into the depth on that shit because that's just going to make me sad.
Yeah, no, you've already dealt with that enough, so I can understand if you don't want to talk about it. I'm not going to pry. So I figure with kind of shit like
I
that,
ended
right?
this
You let
month
people bring it
with-
forward. So.
Just a little over $100 in the bank. That's it.
Oh, that's then all right. Then I'm still doing way better, but it's just fucking. Well, I'm doing way better, but not by much, right? Like.
Yeah, like paying for her
because of my
funeral
situation.
and all this other shit because she didn't have much either. And a lot of her stuff fucking needed to get paid for, and a lot of that came out of the remaining she had. Sucks. Well, thank you, Madre. I've had to now bury 3 children, my significant other, and all of her family. And this
I mean,
year
to
I
be
also had
fair,
to
a
bury
bunch
my
of enemies
grandma
as
too.
well.
Oh yeah, I always bury my enemies. Preferably
yeah.
more than 6 feet deep because I don't want them to coming back as undead.
Plus, they can do the thing like out of fucking was it Kill Bill, right? Where she fucking climbs out. You don't want to do that shit, right? Bury him 12 feet. Make him really
No,
work
you
for
bury
that
him
shit.
12 feet deep and you put concrete over the top with rebar.
Yeah.
Then they can't get out as zombies, and then you're safe.
Take that, Quentin Tarantino. But yeah, that's what I've been enduring. I can kind of go into.
And police
My-
who are watching this, or FBI or anyone, yes, that is how I hid the bodies.
I didn't need to hide the bodies. Let's just say that.
Including,
I'll just leave it at that.
oh, who's that one mobster there? They're still trying to find his body.
Oh, Jimmy Hoffa.
Yes, that's where I hid Jimmy Hoffa's body after I found it.
So yeah, do you want to talk about why I missed the not last stream, the one before that?
Oh yes, we canceled the last stream, and then the one before that was the Frozen List, Frozen and Bree stream,
Oh yeah, no, it was
which was still
that
fun because we played the shark game, but still.
It was yeah. Well, I can go into that right because
Yeah, I
That
messaged
was
you
a,
how many times and you never showed up?
all right. Can I go into the thing so I can get there right?
Go
Fucking A.
for it.
All right, cool. So the reason I didn't show up is because I quit my job that day. I was basically going through the motions of that, and I needed to rapidly deliver on that because I didn't officially quit until the holiday weekend because the way because basically right, if you work a holiday right over a pay period, they have to pay you for that. So I had to work all the way through the weekend, or at least all the way through the weekend. So they had to pay me like an additional paycheck because I'm on salary, I'm not hourly. So I got 2 additional paychecks for doing fuck all work.
Oh, I bet they hated that with a passion.
Hey man, they're the ones who have that rule, right? And you know me, I take advantage of rules all the time, right? So fucking, why not?
Well,
It's
plus
not being
there's
a cunt if you work within
and
the
the
rules.
precedent's been set too. If you're on call, they're paying for that time.
Yeah,
So if
effectively.
you're resigning and you're staying on call through the weekend or whatever, they're paying for that.
Hmm. Yeah, well, I wasn't on call until the day before, which is the day I decided to quit. Basically, fuck me. How do I get into this without getting in trouble? I don't have a do not compete, so that's not the problem. The problem is I still rely on some of those references, so I don't want to like piss too many people off. Basically, I got tired of the office politics regarding my advancement and my ability to do my fucking job, because over the few months, let's go back even further. When I got back from training, I kind of felt as if I was lied to about the work I would be doing, because what I experienced at training was vastly different than what I actually went into.
Wow,
and I felt
that's
cheated
literally
on
what
that.
I fucking
Yeah.
felt with my job. But thankfully, I made it work. But still.
Yeah. But this relied on my job relied on that training, so I thought, but it turns out that they basically broke every single rule in the book just because there was no good reason for it, and I kept complaining about this, and apparently that makes me a bad person. So I don't give a shit about that, because like I was trying to do a good job forever, so I started getting blamed for a lot of shit that I was trying to prevent. And I just started pointing out, yeah, like, hey, yo, bro, where the fuck were you when shit was going down, like, all those years ago, right? Oh, right, that's right. We made terrible decisions back then, because and who was the person who tried to fix that shit? Oh, right, the person you punished for it, right? That kind of politics, right? Where it's like, oh, I felt like I was being scapegoated effectively, and it was leading to very poor code quality. And I'm all about having high code quality, so that wasn't good. That wasn't good at all. That was very, very bad. My final straw was I was trying to implement new features in the product I was responsible for. Right, so I was the lead. I was the lead developer, and I had to design this application, and I wasn't allowed to do it the way I wanted to do. Right, the way it needed to be done. It wasn't just the way I wanted to do it.
That sounds like Dad. Like, he looks at some of this stuff with one company, and he's just like, "We just have to do it this way. No, we want it done this way." It's like, no.
No, it needs to be done a certain way, and just like it's not just me, right? Like, it's not just me.
He has to abide by all the laws in regards to stocks, bonds. So you're dealing with Bloomberg, you're dealing with the Federal Trade Commission, you're dealing with all these regulations of things that have to be done securely and correctly. It's like, no, you can't just do this stuff willy-nilly.
No, for real. Kind of similar in not this job, but basically it's not laws; they're just best practices, where not following them causes a massive budgetary shortfalls. Because later down the line, you find out that, oh, I can't develop on top of this thing anymore because I fucked it up several thousand iterations ago, right? And that costs you a lot of money, and that's what I was going through. And I was trying to tell them, like, look, we have to do this right, because we couldn't update our version of Angular. To get rid of a bunch of bugs that were caused just by out-of-date dependencies. We couldn't fix bugs that relied on new code that was released in the newer versions. We couldn't develop the things we needed to. And finally, I just put my foot down and said, look, guys, we're going to do this because it has to be done. If you want to double up on the data pipeline, right, because that was what their ask was. We want to double up on the data pipeline, so we have twice the amount of data now through the application. And also, we want it to run faster, but the condition was we need to use the exact same rendering code. And I'm like, bro, the rendering code is 99% of the fucking application, and it is the most bloated piece of shit like you could work with, right? It's so convoluted to go through. This is why we keep having regressions. And I was telling this for 9 straight months. Just like, can we just like get our first release out so we can address this problem finally? And I wasn't allowed to. So I eventually said, you know what, fuck it. If you're not going to listen to me being an expert, then I'm going to go be an expert for someone else, effectively. So I basically tendered my resignation immediately without even giving notice, because I was just like, you know what, I live in a right to work state, and that's my right. I can do that. There's nothing they can really do about it. If they can fire me for any reason, I can leave for any reason, right?
Yeah. I have
there's
that
no
advantage too, and the nice thing is I do not have a non-compete one. So should a possible me going into business with one person and basically how do I put it? Taking over from what the two owners, our bosses, are doing because they're old, they're outdated in their times and understanding
Just
things.
old.
It's time to just take it and take the money for ourselves.
Yeah, no, they
It's time
didn't
for
make
them
me
to
sign.
retire, and we're just going to take over and do it our way, which is the better way.
They well, all right, I'm learning a lot of things about
I'm
the
not going to
industry
be,
now.
cucked in being able to only do things certain ways that are outdated and wrong, and not allowing growth and development. And like,
I'm learning a lot of stuff about the industry related directly to this, so I can speak about this from a very inside level.
our biggest brand, the one that we represent at the highest level, they make $65 million a year just off of my work.
That's how it
And
works.
I see shit all. It's like, no.
Take that shit with you, bitch. Like, fucking, just, like, take your talent elsewhere. Fucking, that's what I'm doing.
It's like, no, you guys are gonna fucking give me another pay raise again, or I'm just going to go into business with one person and we're just gonna take everything from you.
Yeah,
And
I'm
honestly,
already.
it's kind of a nice option because business for myself, which I always enjoy doing, and I get to continue to work with brands that are fun to work with.
Yeah, see, I've already applied at 5 of the other competitors because two of them actually hit me up while I was still employed. They're like, "Hey, you're employed here, right? We've heard about you. You're fucking good. Can you
know
give
your
us this?
shit. We want you."
Can you give us the secret source to their IP?" And I'm like, "I can't give you the IP, but I can tell you how they use it, and you can kind of figure it out from there, right?" So fucking yeah,
That is true. That is a method that is allowed.
It's totally legal to do that. You can't share the exact IP, but I can totally tell them all the inside stuff if I didn't sign a contract. Too fucking bad. I have no loyalty to people that fucking had no loyalty to me. Sorry, guys. Sucks. The good thing is, right, when I left, right, I was worried that I would have burned all my bridges because I kind of just I did something that you shouldn't do, right? Just leave without notice and basically. But what I did was over the weekend. The reason I was so busy on call is because I was actually patching all the final issues to make sure the release that was going to go out that next week was done, and then doing that release right before I left. I mean, literally, I hit the button on the release, and then I hit the send button on my resignation letter, and then I said bye, and I was gone. It happened all within like 30 seconds. But the great thing is, I didn't really injure most of the relationships I had. 2 of them are completely dead, right? Like fucking, I don't think there's any way I can rebuild those bridges, and I don't know if I want to or not yet. I'll figure that out as time goes on. But the most interesting one is everyone I've spoken to that works there now and used to work there totally understands where the fuck I'm coming from, and that's very validating. Some people have actually apologized to me because they're like, "Oh my god, I didn't know you had it that bad." Right? We heard you complaining, but we didn't realize it was actually like legit, and now we see it because you're not there holding back the fucking tsunami, right? It was like,
A lot of people don't realize just what, I don't want to call it ground level because we're really not, but at the same time we kind of are. But the people who do the majority of the work and have it and get the shit done, most people don't realize just how much that is.
Yeah. Where
how much we just take care of because we exist.
Hey, Mandalore. Yeah. Oh, yeah. No. Like, I left one of my senior developers in charge of my product for like a couple of weeks when I got my breast implants done, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'd previously let him be in charge for a time because I was on vacation to do. I forget exactly. I think it was like I hadn't taken a vacation in like nearly freaking 18 months at that point or something ridiculous, and I was just fucking so burned out. I just needed to fucking go for a week, right? So I was like, all right, you're in charge, bro. You want to take the reins. You've always wanted to fucking take the reins, right? You've always told me you can do what I do. Now's your chance to go prove it. Bye, right? Left him in charge, right? His attitude towards me changed like overnight. Like when I came back, he was equal parts frustrated because he's like, you didn't tell me how to do anything. I was like, bro, they didn't tell me how to do anything. I put you in the exact same situation they put me in.
Yeah.
Right. So, but then when I was back, he was like, "I'm so relieved you're here because now I know everything you do, and I can't believe you pair with us, do design, and then go talk to like the the DevOps like people, the leaders and things like that, right? I had so many people hitting me up, right? I couldn't do my work, and I'm like, yeah, welcome to my world, right? That's what I do, right? I do a shit ton of stuff. So leaving
Ah,
him charged the second time, I could just see the look on his face, it's like, you fucking bitch, right? But I talked to that guy. We've still got a pretty good relationship. I've been trying to rebuild the relationships that I thought I damaged, and some of them I didn't at all. I was totally mistaken about that, but some I
woohoo.
did, and I'm trying to make good on that, right? Because I fucked up, and I should totally be held accountable for that. Look at me being mature and shit, right?
I know, it's a little disturbing.
Fuck you, bitch. I've been growing as a person so much in the last few weeks, right? Like people are telling me that I'm not the same person anymore. Like it's fucking great. They don't recognize me anymore. But yeah, I've been looking for a job very actively. I was originally planning on just taking the summer off and just kind of just relaxing because I got diagnosed with extreme stress-related fatigue.
No,
I lost,
really?
yeah,
With everything you
I
put up with? Yeah, it should
well,
be kind of obvious.
I lost like 9 pounds in 9 days. That's not healthy. I know if I lose too much weight, they have to take the breast implants out, right? So fuck that. All right, I want to keep these big fucking titties, right? So I was like, all right, quit my job, keep my titties, right? You know, yeah, they're not. I'm
I
not.
think the world would cry if you had to lose your titties.
I'd cry all day. I love my titties with mine.
And I'm going to say it that way just because, yeah, I'm a little sappy.
Well, people love the titties. Trust me on that one. Oh fuck me. I went braless the other night. I got fucking followed home by a bunch of gangbangers. So I got that shit to worry about.
I saw that, and I was just like,
That was a fucking day. That was a day. That was like a
okay,
fucking
my
20
daughter
hour
had
day,
what
and that's
happened
how I
to
ended
her
it.
in Chicago
Oh, what?
with wannabe gangbangers. It's like, no, I don't want Frozen dealing with that same bullshit. Just no.
Oh, mate, I was walking down the street holding my fucking my knife out and my fucking taser ready to go. Cause like you don't be walking down the mean streets of Denver, Colorado, right? I live downtown, right? So it's even fucking more terrifying in the gang-controlled area, right? So it's even more terrifying. And I'm walking down there with no fucking bra on, fucking wearing a lace teddy fucking for a top and booty shorts, right? Looking fucking hot. Everyone thinks I'm a fucking prostitute, and they're trying to all get fucking time with me, and I'm like, mate, I will fucking cut you. All right, like for real, you don't want to fuck with me. Plus, I've been drinking, and I've been drinking whiskey, and whiskey makes me awfully fighty. I don't do that
Oh,
shit.
whiskey?
Yeah, it's bad. It's a bad thing
I
to
could
do.
break this open, but no, I am not drinking tonight. I have drank too much alcohol in the past couple weeks.
Oh,
My liver is already sending me hate mail.
I'm gonna have a drink tonight here in a bit. Yes, I got a whole bunch of beer. What kind of whiskey? It was some well whiskey. I don't fucking know. I went to a brewery. They didn't have any. All they had was like actual beer and wine, a couple of wines, and then basically how like some fucking off-brand fucking liquor, bathtub fucking bullshit, and then just fucking mixers. And I'm like, you guys don't do cocktails? And like, this is a brewery. What do you expect? I'm like, every other brewery in town does that shit. Literally
yeah.
all of them. This is the first fucking one I've ever been to in the 12 years I've lived here that didn't do that. And I looked at the guy, I was like, are you fucking high? Like, they had good food though. That's the thing. I did talk to the guy. They're like, oh yeah, we actually use the beer in all our food. So I was like, all right. Okay, then.
No, I hope that doesn't happen, Madre.
Damn, son. I hope you're gonna be okay. Like,
I still laugh and giggle. Like when my daughter ended up in the hospital, what's the first thing we did? We shut down all of our credit cards within a certain time period. And all the assholes with that, yeah, they couldn't do shit. They didn't get a single penny out of her. So it's like, yeah, you go through all that shit and you got nothing. Way to be a dumbass.
yeah, I would look up, Madre, I would look up your local knife laws in the area, see what kind of things you can do. Most states allow you to carry a flail. I'm not even joking. They're legal in almost every single state. Brass knuckles are legal in, I think, 38 states. So look those up. Colorado is one that happens to be one of the states it's not. And then make sure if you're gonna have pepper spray, get the right one for the state. Some states don't allow certain types of pepper spray. Colorado is just straight up don't give a fuck about pepper spray. You can make your own that will melt people's faces off, and they don't give a fuck, right?
Yeah, your state's what I call special.
Yeah, we can have you can have pepper spray that is literally the fucking xenomorph's blood, right? But you can't fucking like carry a gun in Xenville. Go figure. Yeah, I have to clip this real quick because I need to test how long it is. If anyone's wondering what I'm doing, I'm actually braiding weaving elastic bands to make elastic band bracelets and things like that. Because I have a ton of these fucking things, right? These little fuckers. And I don't put them in my hair because they just rip my hair right out. So, what? Fucking crazy. What bullshit is that? How are you supposed to protect yourself from fucking, like, getting raped, right? I heard all this stuff about rape on college campuses,
it's funny.
right? You should be able
like
to...
all the fucking far lefties are all like, we should be able to, you can't have weapons, but we don't want you to be attacked. It's like, well, let me defend myself.
Yeah.
No, we don't want you to defend yourself. You might hurt the person. You might hurt someone who's attacking you.
That is
But
the fucking point.
You already say that you want to hurt them. You want to hurt them, but I can't hurt them. Well, why can't I hurt them? Why can you only hurt them after they already hurt me?
Yeah, that makes no
so
fucking sense,
confusing.
dude. Oh, yeah, well, they want you to be confused so that way they can fucking hold it against you later on, prescriptively, right?
I still love the fact that people with concealed carry permits are the least likely one to commit a gun crime in the entire United States. And yet, we're the ones vilified for concealed carry.
How dare you?
How
carry
dare
it?
we be sensible people who want to follow the law just for our own safety?
How dare you want to actually do something meaningful, right? And protect yourself. That's the most meaningful thing you can do, all right?
We're terrible
you can't-
people. I already
Yeah.
know I'm a terrible person. That already goes without saying. But still.
Dude, all right, so I went to fucking Elitch's one time, right? Like Elitch Gardens, downtown. It's in downtown Denver, so it's like a short trip on the bus for me. It's on the other side of downtown, and I was getting in there. I went in there with one of my friends, and we got in. I forgot I carry a small arsenal with me in my purse, right? Fucking for real. If shit's gonna go down, right? Shit's gonna go down, and it saved my ass more than once, right? So I do it. So I'm going through the fucking thing, like, all right, man, can we go through your purse real quick? It's like, oh, shit, yeah. So they pull out fucking all this crazy shit that I got, right? And they take one look at me, right, seeing how tiny I am, and they're just like, you're off you go. And they put it all back in my purse. And there's like, fucking...
Oh, we're just gonna leave you alone because, yeah, we understand what you're doing.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Fucking,
And then
yeah,
you just move
it
on.
was... All right. I can't tell you on stream the things I have in my purse, right? Because that's fucking, I plead the fifth on that one, right? Let's just say the legality of them is in question.
Yeah, but they were legal enough that they were like, okay.
Oh, no, they weren't.
We don't want to deal with this shit. It's fine. Yeah.
But, like, I'd rather go to jail for, like, a fucking weapon offense, right, than fucking get raped, right? Like, or kidnapped. Both of those things have happened to me.
Well, yeah,
on the
that's what
same
I mean, though.
fucking
Like, the
day.
cops understand the situation where you are, why a woman would have that. They're just going to be like, okay, and leave it at that. They're not idiots.
I'll probably end up getting, like, a fucking fine for it, right?
Like,
I'll
most cops
eat
are
a
not
fine.
complete retards.
Yeah,
Some of them
like,
are.
Have you met DPD? DPD are pretty fucking retarded sometimes,
Like,
right?
I look at one of the cops I've had to deal with in my life, and he's a complete retard. And then I look at the one who has saved my ass time and time again with one dipshit guy, protecting me, and she's one of the smartest people I've ever met in my life. And she didn't even graduate from college.
I know that, Phil.
I fucking love it. She's smarter than me, and I'm like, that's rare for me to say.
Yeah, no, that was
true.
fucking scary, Madra. Like, fucking, Madre, sorry. Whatever. Fucking, like, yeah, these two dudes fucking were hollering at me, and I wouldn't I was on my phone talking to someone I was gonna meet down the block, and it was really dark, but they pulled up in a fucking windowless, tinted window van, right? Like, basically, like, the traditional fucking free candy van, right? And fucking... Seriously. and they just started giving me aggro.
You want some drugs?
So like, so they're like apparently they're all like fucking upset that I'm not giving them the time of day, right? Because why the fuck would I? I was on the phone
No,
also, so
Oh yeah,
that's
you
another
can't
layer
really
of it.
do much.
The next thing I know, right, they're fucking trying to like sexually assault me and pull me into the van. I was like, fuck you guys. If like thing is, this was in public, right, with people watching, and my friend was there watching this whole thing go down, and like because they realized there was like 10 people there like watching them, didn't fucking wear masks or nothing, you know. They decided to get out, just fucking go roll on up where everyone could see what they looked like, and of course then they realized, oh shit, right, and I wasn't going fucking without a fight, so they just dropped me on and left me there. And I was just like, what in the fuck? So that's why I carry an arsenal. Like I'm not fucking around with that anymore. No fucking way. That was terrifying. Life's crazy.
I always
right?
make the crack that there's a reason why I do certain things. It's just because A, it makes my life easier. B, protect my ass. And C, I protect my ass. And why do I do that? Why do I have to do both of that? 2 times protecting my ass? It's a good ass. Should be protected.
Apparently I got a good ass. Given what was going down the other night, I got followed home again, right? This happens fairly often. And fucking by gangbangers, and they're trying to holler at me, fucking be like, baby, blah blah blah. You want to come home with me? I was like, bitch, I'm going the fuck home. You know what got them to fuck off finally, right? Is the fact that like they like rolled up and they actually rolled up ahead of me and waited for me in the parking lot basically, and so I didn't get near them at all. They were shouting at me, hollering at me, and whatnot. And basically they're like, oh baby, you should come with us. And I'm just like, and I'm like, baby, I ain't going fucking anywhere with you. Like that fucking really deep voice of like Barry White, and then they went fucking like shit scared and fucked.
Look, yeah,
right
that's
off.
why I do like the menthol lady voice, because it's fucking hilarious to do that voice, and people freak the fuck out. Or like
dude,
if I do like my old deep voice, which not many people hear, they're just like, fuck. Because that was a voice where it's like, yeah, if I sing at that low voice, yeah, it kind of explains why I had all the good luck I did back in college, even when I was still with my significant other. It's like, yeah, the temptation's real.
Not for real.
The girls
like
like
so.
it.
Yeah, Mothra, use every fucking weapon at your disposal. There's no shame in it, right? For real. That I've learned that the deep voice can actually intimidate people, so I use it.
Oh yeah,
quite a bit.
it literally it's how do you put it? It catches them off guard.
It catches them so much off guard they don't know what to do, and they'll just fuck off. Like almost every single time I've done it, right? The only time I didn't do it, some guy was actually hitting on me, and he was kind of cute, so I gave him my number. It didn't work out either. He turned out to be a complete massive dickhead.
What is it?
If you act like if you act like a crackhead, they might fucking try and rob you though. You gotta be careful about that shit. Because crackheads are easy targets, because nobody gives a shit about them, right? So you gotta be real careful about that shit.
Cops don't even take it seriously. They're like, oh,
no,
yeah,
and if trans women we get assaulted, cops don't give a fuck. They'll take it as an opportunity to actually do fucked up shit to you.
DAs don't even take it seriously. They're like, oh, you got raped? It's not very important.
Yeah, for real. No, it's one of my ex-girlfriends got arrested, and basically they stripped her naked and put her in the fucking cell with a bunch of men. And left her like that all night. Turns out she didn't actually do anything. She was just, they just arrested her for no reason. So, yeah. It's a fucking sick world out there. You gotta protect yourself as best you can. Use every fucking weapon at your disposal. Fucking, oof.
Yeah, but the nice thing is when you have that, you can feel pretty safe with it. Actually, it's not all that bad. You can pretty much deal with anything.
Yeah, like I do shit that other people wouldn't do. Like fucking just because I'm so used to it at this point, it's like second nature, right? Like walking down the street by myself, fucking midnight, fucking everyone else was like going home and
oh yeah, like coming home late from the fucking studio after a shoot, where like I make sure all the talent gets back to their vehicles, the photographers and everything, and I'm the only one locking up, and I'm there by myself and not exactly the safest part of the city, Yeah, I'm okay doing that.
No, I always tell my friends to make sure that they let me know they got home safe because I know for a fact that there's shit's cray out there, right? So
Oh yeah. People give me crap. They're like, why do you always say text me when you get home? So I know you got home safe and sound.
yeah, because
Like
I know
here
shit
in the
goes down.
Midwest, you have deer, snow, drunk drivers. When it gets really dark and you get a little bit of fog, it's tough to see.
Oh man,
Like there's just, there's enough hazards out there where it's like, no, I'm gonna be a fucking bomb and I'm gonna mother the hell out of you, and you're gonna like it whether you do or not. It's just the way it is. And the funny
fuck man.
part is, the guys do the same thing, and
Huh.
it's a father thing, and it's like
It's just you
it's
give a
not
shit.
it shows that they care. It's yeah, it's kind of hot, but at the same time, it's just a Midwest nice thing. Minnesota's the same way.
Um, yeah, it's fucking cray out there. Like, so I went to Pride this year for the first time in nearly a decade. Because you know
I
why I don't go to
fucking
Pride.
hate
I've talked
Pride
about it.
around here. It is run by morons.
Ours is run by morons too, but this one was actually a lot better than the last one I went to, where I got into a fist fight. Because I wasn't even at Pride. I was just walking there. I was working the whole time. I had to work. I worked at litigation support, so we had a client that had a case that was going out on Monday, right? So we had to do their shit. So Pride was happening right outside my fucking my workplace, and I'm like in full suit and tie. Yeah, fist fighting. Oh yeah, I've gotten into fist fight at Pride multiple times, right? And I never start it. I finish it though. So I was like full suit and tie, right? Fucking just got off of work, 16-hour shift. I'd been there since the previous night, and I was fucking tired. I was sweating, and fucking I was just like whatever, because it's the middle of summer and fucking it's hot as balls, right? So I'm just like not in the fucking mood at all, right? And I just want to go. I want to get to the bus on the other side of downtown, but I couldn't because the entire fucking crowd was there. So I was just trying to leave the building, right? And within like a couple of like seconds of me being out there, some fucking how do I put this politely so we don't get banned on Twitch, right? Let's see. Some flame broiled motherfucker, right? Let's just go with that. He decides to stop me, and he accosts me for being like, "Oh, straight people aren't welcome here, motherfucker."
He
Blah
had
blah
little
blah blah
grill
blah.
marks on his face after putting his face on the grill.
Oh, he had definitely had some marks from but not from the grill, right? Probably from all the fucking dick he was sucking, right? But he was basically this dude
Same
fucking
thing.
started shit. This dude started shit with me, because like, oh, straight people aren't welcome at Pride. You're a fucking narc, blah 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 blah. Come on, I didn't say anything to this person. He just stopped me and it prevented me from going. I'm just like, bro, I just want to go home. I've been working. I just got off work. I'm not here for Pride at all. I don't care. And he's like, he keeps giving me shit for being straight, and I'm like, bro, I'm bisexual. I had a boyfriend for like the longest fucking time. You don't know fucking shit about me. And then this like he fucking swinged at me. So I fucking kicked his ass.
See, that's something I always find hilarious. Is it's like I look at these idiots and they're just like, where I'm just gonna assume that you're this, and it's
Mhm.
like, do you not understand? Don't judge a book by its cover.
Yeah, just because I was dressed in a suit and tie, I had to look good for the lawyers. They were there watching me do my work, so I was under high pressure, right, and I had to look good. And in the middle of summer heat as well, wearing a fucking suit in the middle of summer is fucking it's the worst. It's just I was so nasty and minging after that day. I was not in the mood at all.
No, who would have been?
So yeah, decked that motherfucker, and I just basically took the first fucking exit I could and just walked all the way around the thing. It took me an extra hour to get home just because I had to walk all the way around the parade, but I didn't want to have to accost anyone. I didn't want to have to fight that fuck, right? He put me in that situation, and he can deal with that. Fucking hate it. But yeah, no, I went to Pride this year, and everything went well, actually. I went to, fuck, where did I go? I was invited, I went to a lesbian bar, on Colfax, and they fucking loved the shit out of me. They invited me to go back. I was really nice to all the bouncers. One of the guys there, he was talking to me all night, like and like thing is, it was me and my trans friends. We went, and I was really like, are we crashing a party by being trannies up at a lesbian bar? And it turns out no, they were fucking happy as fuck to have us there, right? got some really good conversations. Follow a whole bunch of people on Instagram now because of it, because we were just talking, right? So at the end of the night, we got out of there around about 2:30, right? Because I think they have a late night liquor license. And so we're on the way back, right? We're hanging out at fucking I think it was Papa John's, right? Late night, waiting for a fucking Uber to come, and it's taking fucking ages to get there, right? So it's like, and the whole time there's these two homeless dudes screaming at us, and I'm not talking like fucking like shouting. I mean full on screaming. You can hear them fucking blocks away, right?
Please say there was something completely intelligible, just so that it's
I have no idea what the fuck they were saying, but they were 20 feet away, fucking like screaming at me.
Classic frontier gibberish type style. If you've seen the Blazing Saddles movie.
Yeah, basically complete fucking like crazy fuck, right? Problem is, I'm a complete crazy fucking all. I just don't go screaming at people unless it's absolutely necessary. So I pulled out my
the
fucking
exact phrase, and I think I quote, "God damn it, Bree." Although I think that's a phrase a lot of people like to say. I wonder why.
But like, oh thank fuck! I thought I spilled my drink. But like this guy's screaming at me. He's not taking a step towards me yet. So I'm just basically like, yeah, you stay the fuck over there, you fucker, right? So I pulled out a knife and my taser because those are my go-to things, right? Fucking, I'm going down for the count, right? But I'm gonna take you with me, yeah. Fucking, and so that's what kept them at bay. And these dudes were like everyone in Papa Murphy's just watching this fucking crazy hot tranny, right? Fucking getting into it with this fucking homeless dude, and they're placing bets on what the fuck's gonna happen. Oh my god, it was fucking that was a nightmare.
I'll give you 3-1 odds. Oh.
For real, there was guys in there watching me, like in there apparently talking about how hard I was because like one of them came up to me and asked for my number, just like, I think you're fucking awesome. I was like, can I have your number because you're so hot? And I was like, tell me more fight stories. That's an entirety of my fucking time at high school, and primary school, and infant school, and kindergarten, a little bit of college, a lot of college. That time I dropped out of college and. That was my entire late teenage years, and then I moved to this country. I also lots of fighting there too. Fucking A. When am I not fighting, actually? Yeah, for real.
You're just a troublemaker in general.
I am not a troublemaker. I don't start fights, right? I fucking finish them. All right. I want to be able to walk away and get on with my day. All right. I got shit to do. If you're acting like a fucking fool, right? That's your fucking problem. All right. For real.
I'm still going to tease you forever, but that's fine.
Well, here's the thing, right? People pick on me because I'm so tiny, right? Thinking I'm not going to
You're an armrest. It's great.
Yeah, right? But people treat me like shit for it, and they're like, oh yeah, what are you going to do about it? And I'll gouge their fucking eyes out with my thumbs.
I will say this because it is 100% accurate. All you short people, the reason you're so angry so often is because you're closer to hell.
Well, that would make me happy. Hell's a great place. It has all those rock stars there that did all those drugs. I'm gonna want to go hang out with them. Stupid. Love how that just killed the conversation.
You're such a lost cause sometimes, but
yeah, I know.
Okay.
They're gonna have to send me to heaven to keep me out of trouble. It's a true story.
I still find it wonderful that it's like, Sophia still remembers your ass, and a bunch of other people on Twitter all still remember your ass, and it's just like, yep, no. She's still just as crazy as always.
Oh, I'm crazier now. I'm more mature and understanding of the world. So of course I'm fucking crazy, all right? I understand, right? I think my nan, right, told me a very long time ago when I was still like wee one, like maybe 7 years old. She's like, you act like it's you versus the world. And I was like, Nan, it is me versus the world. They're all assholes. I've never changed that stance ever because as I age, I'm realizing this paradigm is absolutely fucking true. Yeah, I'm so sorry for being so based all the time.
They're all just like, some people are like, Bree, why are you always so angry with people? It's like, do you not understand how stupid people are?
Oh, fuck, dude. Can we not talk about that on the stream?
No, we're not talking about the Chris Chan audio tape bullshit. No, we're not talking about it today. Nobody wants to hear about that. We're all disturbed by it. If you want to go, want to throw up, go to Twitter and look it up.
No, it's all good. We're not doing that. Like, no.
Like, I will happily rant on lots of cool shit. I just have no urge to rant about Dad.
I want nothing to do with that motherfucker, and I made it a point a very long time ago to avoid that cancel. So I'm far removed for it on purpose. Yeah, so let's avoid that subject. Just because like it's not worth it for anyone to go over. I bet you fucking there's like 20 million YouTube channels having streams at this exact moment talking about that shit.
100%. Yeah, there's tons of videos and everything. Just people are all reporting on it, and it's just like, go get it elsewhere. Not doing it here.
Yeah, it's not worth it. But moving on, right to the other shit. I've been interviewing.
How's the job hunting?
Oh fuck me! All right, so I learned a lot.
But you're kind of out of range, man.
Well, they have these things called airplanes, bitch. Like, they're a marvelous invention. They let you fly from one place to another without having to flap your arms.
Money.
Well, if you hijack the plane, right, then like it requires no money.
I wonder if the pilot would listen. Hey, look, there's a girl in Colorado. We're gonna get it on. I just need you to sort of leave the cockpit.
Yeah, right. They'll totally go for that.
You know, can we make a tiny little stop in Colorado and then you can go down to Florida?
Be like, hey, bro. Yeah. Here's the deal, right? If you land over there, she might give you sloppy seconds.
Oh hell no! I'll give him head right there in the cockpit. I mean, it's already named it. May as well just embrace it.
Oh, there we go. There we go. Yeah, job hunt's going rather better than it was at the beginning of the month. Hang on.
Oh, good.
There you go. Spared you that one, guys. Sorry. I've been told my belches piss people off, so I don't want to do it directly in the microphone anymore. Sorry.
Chat, you see what I put up with?
You put up with me because you love me, bitch. That's why. I know you never admit it,
I
but
will
I
neither
know
confirm
you
nor deny this without the written consent of my lawyer.
You don't have to. Look on your denial speaks volumes. All right, so
it's not a denial. It's okay, fine. Yes, I do.
Yeah, there you go. See.
Fucking cave.
Yep.
No, it's too late. I'll just cave. Madre.
Oh, dude. I was at a bar.
She knows
the other night.
I fucking love her. She's like a little sister.
I was at a bar the other night and I was just downing fucking whatever the fuck they were giving me. I don't even remember. I was wasted. Because I've been meeting with a lot of my my strategists. And I'll go over that whole thing here in a bit.
She's
but I was at a
take
bar.
over the world, but I'm winning. Straight.
And I belched really fucking loud without thinking about it. Like, cause I totally forgot I was even out, like, with friends, right? I was that kind of wasted. And just everything, like, it was like the record fucking skip, like, and like, everyone just like looking at me like this, like, what the fuck? Who the fuck did that? Like.
On a side note, my continued enjoyment with the Final Fantasy XIV stuff going on Twitch, especially with Asmongold, this community continues to love me.
Well, good for you,
fat
bitch.
tranny that's cute with the nice tits somehow is loved by him. So all those people who claim that Asmongold and his community are transphobic, one, Asmongold's always been respectful and kind to me. Two, this community loves me. Because I'm not a bitch who fucking shoves stupid shit in their face going, you have to be this way.
Yeah, that turns people off, right? There's a psychological fucking thing, right?
I admit some of them are complete loopy wackadoodles. Sometimes it's endearing, sometimes it's annoying.
Trannies by their very nature of what we are fucking crazy bitches, right? Just that's the way. That's the luck of the draw for us. And too bad, so sad, right? Like fucking get over it.
Blasphemy! I'm the most sane person you can ever find. I'm a little angel.
Mm-hmm.
An innocent flower.
You know who else was a little angel at one point? Satan. All right, like just saying.
Shh. You don't see the horns.
Mm-hmm. Fuck me.
Anyways.
But yeah, so I've been trying. Basically, all of last year, I tried interviewing to get out of my job, or at least to see how I could get out of my job, right? Basically by going at these other jobs, right? And so I think I did like 6 interviews last year. It wasn't like one every 2 months. In fact, 2 of them were on the same day. So that was a fucking rough day. So, if any of my ex-coworkers are wondering, yeah, I took that day off. That specific day that everyone's pissed off about me. No, there's nothing you can fucking do about it. Yes, you can kiss my ass, right? This was a bit of drama at that point in time. But during those interviews, I learned a lot, and I didn't think it was actually valid until more recently. So, the interviews I went for a senior architect role, senior solutions architect specifically with AWS, because I actually trained for that particular job. I did get certified, and I'm actually going to start working on getting my certification back to kind of get this role I've been interviewing at. So, I've been dealing with that, right? And so I got to the final interview of that role, and what ended up happening was the team who was supposed to interview me didn't even bother showing up, and the director basically had to make a judgment call right there and then. He's just like, all right, here's the deal. He's like, I like you. You have a good personality. You seem to have a really good drive towards getting things done properly, and like the best practices and things like that. There's just 2 issues. You are not trained in the specific part of this stack that's really important. And that was a big thing. Like, the entire interview was concerning that one thing. I really wish they would have told me up front, but that's fine. Because I learned more about it now, right? We already talked that one through. He's like, I believe you could learn it very quickly, because they were looking for someone who is a very skilled programmer to use this specific piece of technology. It's just that you also need to know how the technology worked. So he's like, you're too immature in that regard, like in terms of your skill set with this as a solutions architect. But the other thing is, we have a democratic process here, and I can't override my team. And if they don't want to vote on this because whatever reason, it would basically cause me political issues at my job. Even though I'm the principal architect and I get the final say, I just can't override their vote like that. It would cause me massive headaches, even though I want you to work here. And I was like, I respect the fact that you told me those 2 things, right? Because
Yeah,
hey,
he's being honest, which is already
that's
ridiculously
more than
nice.
yeah, that's more than what most people will tell you. They'll blow smoke up your ass, right? So I appreciated that honesty, and I was like, I did ask, can I come and interview back here again? And he's like, whenever you're ready. He's like, we'll have a role for here for you. We'll find something for you to do. So shout out to that company. I'm not going to say who it is, because it's unprofessional, right? Yeah, they were it was still a good interview, right? I learned so much about just the parts of the cloud I should focus on in regards to learning more depth, right? So that was a really good interview, I think, even though I didn't get the job, because interviews are about learning as well, right? You're not just going you're not just going in there to learn about the company and about the job itself. You're learning about tech stacks that are being used in the field, right? It's actually, I kind of joke, it's one of the few times you can commit corporate espionage and do it legally.
I love it. That's great.
Is it not wrong though? I've done this.
No.
I've gone to interviews with no intent of actually taking the interview, and I've told my job straight up. I'm just like, we should look into these technologies. And they're like, how the fuck do you know all this shit? And I'm like, because I just had an interview at this place for like 8 hours, right? And that's what we were talking about. And so they're like, you're taking days off to go investigate technology, and I'm like, yeah. Like, you're not an architect. I'm like, but I fucking should be, right? But the other 5 interviews were all for the same role I already had. Which was a project lead or tech lead, right? Basically, lead developer. One of the interviews actually was very respectful about it. They saw my resume. They're like, oh yeah, you'd be a really good fit for this in terms of skills. We just want to see about your personality, and because that's a really big thing, right? You need the personality to fit as well. Don't just take a job just because it pays well. There's a whole corporate culture thing you have to take into consideration. And so I got through that. I got through the interview after about 5 minutes. They actually said, we're done. Go home. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, that was the shortest interview I've ever done. I thought I offended them somehow. And I was like, oh God, what did I do? How did I fuck this up this time, right? And so I asked them straight up. I was like, what did I do wrong? Can I just... No, actually. They looked at my resume, and my resume doesn't... resumes only tell people about tech stacks and tasks you worked on. They don't explain breadth or depth of what you understand. So that interview was the
Very
first interview
true.
with them, and they were like, "You're way overqualified for this kind of position. Like, if we bring you in here, you're gonna be an absolute nightmare because you're gonna want to advance basically up the stack very rapidly, and we can see you being somewhere very, very high up at another company." And I was like, "Oh, okay." I thought they were just trying to get me out of the room for whatever reason, right? But I heard this 4 other times. And then this other interview I was at, it was a 3 week long interview. Where basically, well, not 3 weeks end to end. It was the whole process took 3 weeks. I really like the company, right? Really like the company. I think they've got a good staff. The personality fit was definitely there. The corporate culture was great. And they've got a really good product, right? Like, I actually was on
Oh,
board with their mission. They would do basically, they do HVAC services for
okay.
like, so basically they control the entire process from the start of a work order all the way through like distribution and they cut out the middleman on the pricing. So if you go through this company, you get really good pricing on HVAC services, and that's what they do.
Hmm.
And so they were looking for someone to come in and basically start being a rock star. And so they took a look
Well,
at my
that's your
resume. They're
middle
like,
name.
right, exactly. So the thing is, they didn't know where to stick me. That was the problem. They needed to figure out where they wanted me before.
Oh.
And that's what the last interview was about. It was a non-technical technical interview, where I was just basically speaking to my experience rather than actually like solving how to do it, like when we use a queue versus a stack, for example, blah 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 blah. This one was really more. I was interviewing with the mostly the higher ups. I interviewed with the head of QA, the TPM of the team that I would be working on. So basically, my direct supervisor,
Mhm.
the director of engineering, and then the final interview was 2 people. It was actually the most junior developer and the most senior developer.
The most.
And
That's a little weird.
well, yeah, it's because they just hired him. He was there to basically make sure the interviews are consistent, because apparently they had that problem. So they always invite the newest guy into the interviews, and I actually kind of understand that,
Huh.
right? Yeah. So not
Never had
not
a
to talk.
place like that.
Yeah, no, this was a very different place, and I was like, you guys are really different. I like it, right? Like, I really liked your hustle, right? So,
Huh.
kudos to them. I'm not even mad about it, right? I'm not even mad about the fact that I didn't get the job, and the reason I didn't get the job is because I believe I had more in common with the higher ups, right, in terms of just where I'm at in my career, than I
Mhm.
did with the lead developer, because after thinking about it critically and talking to a bunch of people, and then thinking about other interviews I've had done, and then listening to their feedback, they basically said, "You're a superstar, developer, but we're terrified about why you left your last job, because you left because you wanted to advance, and you wanted to address long-standing quality issues, and we don't have a place for someone like that right now." Like, they were worried that if they hired me, I would just leave again, because I would get frustrated because they would stick me somewhere that I didn't want to be, right? Which is a totally valid reason. So, kind of upsetting. The fact it took 3 weeks just crushed me, because I was actively studying really hard for that interview, and I didn't get it. But then on Monday, which this last Monday, I basically contacted the representative, and I was like, tell them thank you for the chance, and when they're ready, can they reach back out to me, and I'll come back in and try to impress them again. But I thought about it, and I was like, basically, because I had more in common with the director, the poor lead developer, right, who had to be like my manager effectively, probably thought I was a living nightmare to experience, because my skill was just eclipsed his. No shit talking to him, right? He had an amazing fucking set of skills. It's just that his skill set is not as mature as mine. Mine's incredibly mature. And so it allowed me to re-strategize about where I'm going with my career, um, and I'm aiming much higher than I've been at for now. I'm trying to move out of development into things like consulting and
It's worth it too.
architecture. Oh yeah, like I've got an interview Monday with a consulting firm for AWS, or sorry, Cloud Solutions Architect. They're actually cloud agnostic, so I need
Oh.
to learn all the stacks of cloud, not just one of them. And the whole job is basically just going in with the salespeople and the business people and being the subject matter expert, so I can build solutions for these guys that will suit their exact needs. And so I've been working on the people skills quite a bit recently, and I give a shit about people's IP. When someone puts something in my hands and says take responsibility for this and don't fuck it up, I hold on to that very dearly and I make sure it's protected. And that's a very rare skill apparently. Like most people want to take advantage of that, try to sell them bullshit, And I'm like, I'm not about that. I want to sell them what they need, not what I am told to sell them. This is why, and retail is a terrible salesperson, but in like technical sales, right? If if I have a product that fits, I will recommend it to you. If it doesn't fit, I will
Yeah,
not.
that's the problem I've always had with salespeople on the tech end, is they will overpromise every time.
Yeah, I've actually been getting mentorship from one of the guys who he mentored me years ago at a previous job, and I reached out to him, and like he's like rock star compared to my level, right? And then so I fucking adore this guy. He's just so goddamn on top of it, right? He's one of the few graybeards I like who still continues to evolve his skill set. He understands that, he has to be, in order to remain being shit hot his whole career, he has to continue to evolve. And so I sat on a call with him for about 2 hours where he just went through and gave me basically the entire cheat sheet to impressing these new clients. So I'm gonna study the fuck out of that, because that was, yeah. I was like, you should write a fucking book, bro. Like, for real. You're an unsung hero in the world of development, and you've been there literally since the beginning of the internet. Like, he helped fucking, like, the internet happen effectively, and nobody knows who the fuck he is. And I'm like, dude, you should really start fucking getting your name out there, for real. Like, but yeah, I've been meeting with those people, my strategists, I called them. But he's really more of a personal friend plus a strategist. Like, he's just an awesome person to have in my life, right?
Yeah,
So
it's
that's what
tough
I've been
to find
doing.
quality people.
Yeah, no, especially in professional circles, because a lot of people are in it for themselves, right? Bree, I'm sure you can talk to this, right? Yeah, right, there you go.
Insert rant that could literally take like 6 a.m. I think.
Yeah. Yep. Nope.
We're not crossing that line today.
No. It's that's an even worse fucking discussion than the Christian one.
Yeah, no, we're not getting into that fucking. Just no, not happening.
Neither one of those cancers. Yeah. No, there's a lot of people who basically take advantage of whatever they can to advance and keep other people down, and I'm so sick of dealing with those people, because.
And then you get ones like us where we may be bitches in real life at times, but we're sometimes a little too nice in the business world.
Oh yeah, no,
and it's more probably due to the fact that we're good at what we do and we know it, and so we try to excel at it, and that often means to meet that success we have to be nice because that's what's best for business.
Yeah, like I learned there's a right way to go about that kind of shit, right? Like I've realized that I've been fucking that up for some time. I've been going into a lot of interviews, only treating them as technical interviews. Interviews are less about the technology than they are about your personality, like in terms of tech interviews. Basically, they want to see if you can fit. Well, it's not even being charming as fuck. It's communication, expressiveness, creativity, things like that. Like, that's what they're looking for. And so I didn't know this for like up until a couple of months ago when I was interviewing other people. But yeah, like, because I'm learning this, right? I'm teaching other people this now, so we can I'm paying it forward, right? Like the people who taught me really well now, and I'm taking it all on board and paying that forward to younger people who are coming up and they don't know how to go about it, because fresh out of college, right? They don't teach you how to like build relationships. They just teach you how to do this.
Here's some skills. Learn these. Well, that's all well and good, but that doesn't help you succeed.
No, not at all. It's the entire rest of the equation that they're missing, and I really do think that they're
one of
kind
the reasons
cheating.
why I think apprenticeships and internships are all really good, because you actually get into the environment, you understand reality, and you learn to deal with it before you're even done with college.
Yeah, like the interns I've interviewed, they've been fucking amazing. They seem to have understood this thing that some people who have been in the industry for like 40 odd years just don't understand. Like there's this one chick, she was actually wanting to be an analyst, right? She just wants to go into the business side of programming and be an analyst and set
Oh,
up dashboards and things like that. But her
good for
thing
her.
was, oh yeah, right. We need people like that because they help
Cool.
they help us stay in check, right? They basically do all our metrics for us, and they're the ones who make our money because they're the ones who actually tell us what to work on because they know what the fuck is happening, right? You got to support those people. And so I was really impressed with that. But like no one else was. They're like, oh, I don't see the value in that. And I'm like, she's the reason she was at the internship to interview is because she needed to understand the technical side of it in order to make accurate decisions. So I was like, I really respected her attitude towards her work because, like, I have never heard that shit where an analyst actually went out of their way to learn programming to do their job better. They all just get MBAs and think they know fucking everything. Well, not all of them, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, like, am I wrong?
No.
Nah, no.
No,
Um,
no, not at all.
yeah, you know it. I know it. Everybody knows it. Fucking,
I kind of sit back and I just kind of chuckle because I've worked in, I've done, half my life was on the farm. I did factory work. I did nonprofit work. I did nonprofit management work, which was managing at the top level of multiple ones. I've been in web development. I've been in website development, customer service, and call center stuff. I've also done fucking food industry now and marketing design, product design, graphic design,
I really wish
analyst
fucking.
shit. And it's just like, I've done this all. And I just kind of sit back and I look at some of these young people out there. I'm like, I feel bad for you. But at the same time, it's like, I don't get to deal with any of the fun shit that I should be able to.
Oh yeah, no. I've had my personality. I'm reading the fucking chat and I just like fucking stupid brain shit. I've had my career suppressed for a while, right? Because my advancement through my career suppressed for a while because they were busy building up the younger people rather than than me, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I still need some of that shit too. You can't just delegate all the fucking fun stuff to them. I like fun stuff too. Just because I make more money than them doesn't mean I want to go to. Doesn't mean I don't want to go to fucking like GCP lectures at Google. They all got to fucking go. I had to stay behind because someone had to stay behind. They're like, oh well, you're the leader, right? I'm like, oh, if I'm the leader, I should know what the fuck is happening. If I'm the leader, right? I should be the most informed person, right? The people at the
You would
bottom of the
hope.
rung should. Yeah, the people at the bottom of the rung should only need to know what they need to know to be successful, and I have to enable them. That's what a leader does, right? It's the least privileged information kind of stuff, right? But they were doing it the other way around. It was they were doing it top down. Bottom up. Sorry, top down. Yeah, fuck it. Stupid business terms. You know what I mean, right? Like, so whatever,
yeah.
right? I'm deciding to take that into my own hands. And most of the stuff I'm studying now for interviews isn't even about technical part. I did all the data structure shit and all the algorithm stuff, and I'm practicing that, teaching that to a couple of programmers to kind of make sure I know it, and we go through it together. But I'm actually learning about people skills and how the brain works and things like that. That's why I said stupid brain shit, right? Because I'm learning how the brain can fuck up. And if I'm aware of those things, at least I can recover from them in interviews. Say I do something stupid, and instead of like,
You do something stupid?
yeah, I know, right? No, not me. But like, I've totally bombed interviews by just doing the wrong thing. Like it's all like behavioral science and shit like that. So I've been
Oh,
reading
yeah.
a lot about like non-programming shit to be more effective at my job, so I understand how I'm fucking up, and it's like spiraling all my skill out of control now because now it's like, oh, it's all coming together now. It's like fractals. I did the one fucking level, all of a sudden it became much bigger. I did the next fucking level and it became even bigger, right? Like fuck, it's great. So yeah, I've been
Well,
busy as shit. I'm not even joking.
one of the things I've been trying to do is work with one of our people because one of the things that I think would be to our advantage would be to get into the heat and go type products and to try to get our manufacturers aboard, because that is a fucking money market gold mine.
Mm-hmm. I can see
like,
that.
People are lazy. They get
Yes.
and people are rushed with work, families trying to get shit. More and more kids are making food themselves.
Hmm.
And it's like,
Yeah.
no, this is a way for us to get kids into, cooking more. But at the same time, it's also like, hey, there's money to be made here. Why are we not taking advantage of this shit?
Yeah. Kind of on topic.
Perfect.
Kind of on topic. I get a lot of cooking ads. In fact, I've been approached for my for getting sponsorship on my YouTube channel for cooking companies so I can sell their shit on the stream. I've declined them all, but like I've declined them mostly because they want me to sell exclusively their shit, and I'm like, I won't be able to do half the stuff I do because I use my KitchenAid.
Right thing.
Yeah, they have to understand, like, it's sponsorship companies. You have to understand that other companies do exist, and if you don't make a necessary product for a cook to do their fucking job, then I'm not gonna fucking go with you, right? Because you're preventing me from doing the thing that got you interested in the first place. I'll sell you stuff, right? But don't get it all bent out of shape.
They're just gonna be bent out of shape regardless.
They're gonna, I'm not using my KitchenAid because I use it for so much shit, right? I use it a lot, and I'm not gonna stop using it just because you're like, oh, I've got a spatula I want to sell, right? Maybe it's a good spatula, but it ain't
something this spatula doesn't do.
Yeah, maybe it's a high quality spatula, right? On the other hand, I don't give a shit because my KitchenAid can make sausages, all right, and pasta and bread, and also, well, it can't cook the bread, but it can make the dough, right? But you know what I mean? Like, I want to try making ice cream sometime soon on stream. I've been so swamped with stuff, I haven't been able to. I haven't had a free week. I haven't had a free day until today was supposed to be my day off, and I still ended up working most of it. I have homework to do for this.
This is my first night all week to really relax. Which is so nice.
I dare not show you the fucking stack of Yu-Gi-Oh cards that's built up that I haven't fucking touched in nearly 2 months. Dude, it's.
I already know. You've already showed me the stack before. Just
no,
in general.
It's worse now. Remember all those boxes I pulled out in the fucking one of the first streams we did? Yeah, it's like twice that size now.
Chat, today we're going to have an intervention with Frozen Binary Studio.
Fuck you, dude. Like, Frozen, you need to stop buying Yu-Gi-Oh! And like, no, you need to leave me the fuck alone. Heart of the cards, bitch. Like, I gave up playing Duel Links, right? Because of my job. Because it was interfering with...
Yeah,
so I want to get back into it. But I'm not getting back into Duel Links because that's just too much of a time sink for me. But the physical card game... I'm getting better at it. Like, I haven't had time to play recently or even do anything about it because I haven't had days off. Having this discussion with you, Bree, is fucking like the closest thing I've had to relaxation in a long time.
Yeah. Well, with dealing with Kay's death, dealing with medical stuff and all that stuff, I've been running around like a chicken with my head cut off.
Oh, speaking of medical stuff.
It's so nice to just sit back and not have to think or do anything.
Yeah. But speaking of medical stuff, guess who's going for their approval on their bottom surgery?
Ooh.
Yeah. All I have to do now is get my affidavit for my name change from my endocrinologist, and I can go for my name change at the exact same time. And then once I have that done, I can get my my F marker on my ID, which I want to get done before the end of August, but she's my endo's dragging her feet on getting the notarized letter I need. So I gotta kind of stick a fucking foot in her ass.
Why am I not surprised?
Yeah, well, she's a good bitch, but just like she takes fucking way too long. Excuse me. Like she dragged her feet about doing this for I think it was like 3 months, and by the time she finally got it done, it was just happened to be the same week there was riots in Denver, and the courthouse was shut down. So my paperwork expired. So I basically need to send her an email tomorrow and be like, hey bitch, I'm really waiting on you to do this because I planned on having this done by the end of the by the end of the summer. Because once I've got that piece of paperwork, all I need to do is go get a background check done and file the paperwork and get my court date. That's it.
Nah, that sounds about right.
So I just need to have that paperwork in hand before I even do the rest of the paperwork, because I kind of have to redo it all. But I have all the notes for it, and it's not hard to do.
No.
I basically already talked to the judge who presides over that shit, and she's like, there's no reason why anyone would deny your case. You have a really solid case. They can technically deny you for any reason, but like it tends to go down very, very poorly if they do.
I would say so.
Yeah, like
Especially in just the current like situation
Mm.
in the world, it's like, yeah, no, not many judges are gonna want to deal with that bullshit.
Yeah, the judge is pretty fucking cool. So I talked to her, and she actually informed me that if I can invoke a specific right that I have here in Colorado, which is why I want to stay here until I get my name change done. Basically, where I can refuse right to publication. Or sorry, I can invoke the refusal of for publication. That's my right. Sorry. Basically, normally if you get your name change done, you have to post it in within 90 days to like 3 places, like print places, which is kind of a nightmare for some people. So they have
Yeah.
exemptions, and transsexuals automatically qualify for an exemption, but you have to tell them that. They don't just give it to you.
Yeah,
Right,
and
so
that's
you have to
one of the things I'm trying to sort out too. Is like,
Hmm.
if I do this, we're just gonna end up with me back in court with an assault case of me being assaulted. It's like, no, well, like, what judge wants to be at fault for that?
Hmm.
I don't
Yeah,
know of
so-
any.
Yeah, judges like to have good records, because when it comes to time to vote those judges in, I don't know about how it is in your county, but in my county, they actually post their fucking their records and their reviews, so we can actually go up, look those things publicly, and
Most
if a ju-
don't
if a-
bother to look it up ever.
oh, I do.
People
They,
are fucking lazy ass motherfuckers.
I look at judges' records and things like that, because voting on judges and like fucking comptrollers and things like that is the things I give a shit about when I vote. The president doesn't fucking matter because he's just a fucking stupid figurehead, right? But the fucking
Yeah,
it's
all
all
right.
it's all the local level people I give a shit about, because those ones actually make change in my direct life. So it's like, yeah, I pay attention to judges. If judges have too many fucking mistakes, or they don't listen to their reviews, then I try to vote them out, because they're just fucking useless,
Well,
right?
when I had jury duty, and this is the
Mm.
only time I've had it, the judge came out and was like, "What do you think about the state laws about, in this case, drunk drivers?" Because that's what the case was about. And this was a guy who, obviously, based on the questions they said, very obviously this was not his first time being nailed for it. And that's already a sore topic for me in general, because I've had friends killed by drunk drivers. So I'm going
Yep.
to obviously, not be of sound mind in the eyes of the law to be a juror with this. And when I flat out told him, I think the state's failing miserably at this, as well as DAs, judges, and police, he grinned at me and then quickly stopped, because it's like, he knows what I'm thinking. And
Yeah.
then, like, when I told him exactly why and what happened and my reasoning behind it, everyone in the jury box that was getting interviewed that time along with me, complete silence. They just looked at me like I'm insane. I'm like, the judge wants the honest truth. I'm going to give him the fucking honest truth.
You know damn well how I would have answered that fucking thing if that went
The
down,
judge
right?
fucking is like, when it comes time to excuse people because they're gonna not allowed to be a juror, I'm the first one out. The lawyers don't even have to tell them to kick me. And like, I'm getting high fives from people. So I'm looking out going, how are you, like, that's so bad. It's like, you just gotta be honest. Like, it's all this local level shit where it's not handled well. Yeah, I'm gonna fucking speak my mind on it. And honestly, it's helped in my county. It hasn't helped in the state, but
Oh yeah, you get one thing at a time, right? You can't fucking go take on the bigger problems until you take on the smaller problems, right?
so I'm not gonna worry about it.
Yeah, like, but you know me about drunk drivers, right? I fucking lost my husband to that shit. So, fucking like right after our wedding and all. So I was only a wife for only a couple of months. And yeah, if they asked me that question, I'd be like, death. death to all fucking drunk drivers. Just fucking execute them on the spot, right? Like fucking, you've foregone your right to life.
Well, I laid
They were
out
like-
my argument, and it's like, yeah, we just keep giving him a slap on the wrist. What do you think I'm gonna say?
Put him in the box. Just shove him in the box. For
Fine,
like
there's
6
a way
years
we
though.
should just keep him from being able to drive, but we still can't. Like we still
Chop
keep
off
letting
their
him-
hands. That'll do it. See, I'm like going full Saudi Arabia on this shit, dude. I've stopped giving a fuck. Drunk drivers, right, are some of the most fucking stupidest fuckers alive, right? Everyone knows it's wrong, but yet so many people do it, and then they're like, oh well, you know, I'm fucking hurt, and they're trying to make
I've
excuses
lost
for up after
count
the
the
fact.
amount of times that I've called friends to come pick me up because I was drunk and I didn't want to drive.
Oh, you're smart. You're one of like the 1% that isn't
But I
fucking
live in
completely
Wisconsin.
retarded.
We will fucking drive like 2.5, 3 hours to go visit a friend for like 4 hours and then drive back home. That's the same day.
Yeah, nope.
Like, we don't give a fuck.
You forget I lived in the Midwest for a while, so yeah, I do know what it's about, right? Like,
It's just the way we are.
I love it. How long is this thing? Holy shit.
Oh yeah,
Fairly long.
no, the Midwest is amazing. We're one of the best places to live in the entire country. You split it in 6 pieces. The upper Midwest is the first go-to area.
I've actually been getting job offers in Minnesota quite a bit, which I don't mind, but
It's a nice area. Yeah, they unfortunately have some political issues and obviously a couple other issues, but it's a nice area. And Twin Cities is beautiful.
yeah. I've been looking at that. It's one of the areas I've been considering going to
Well,
because they actually
My
have a lot of
grandma
tech
who
out
passed
there.
away, she and grandpa lived in the Twin Cities, not far from the state park even. From a great mall, a great comic book store, everything. And I fucking loved it. Angela's grandma used that passed away back in my college days
Oh, sorry. Forgot that one.
from the other side of her family. She lived fucking just a minor distance away. So like it was real easy for her to fly in from her college. And we could literally just, I could visit grandma, I could spend time with her and her grandma. We could have time hanging out at the comic book store with the fucking tabletop RPG shit. Like there were countless times we played pickup games of D&D with random people at the shop because it's fun.
Good shit. Good shit.
Like the Midwest is fucking awesome. You don't see that shit happening in like let's say Chicago,
Oh, fuck no.
New York City,
No. Oh, God, no.
California.
Oh, God, yeah. Don't get me started, dude. We'll do a... Excuse me. I've been on streams where basically the second California's brought up, it becomes like a 3-hour stream of me just bitching about Californians. We can't do that on the stream. You know that.
We're just gonna break it off at the fault line and shove them out to sea.
I keep saying they have to join the city of Atlantis. Just fucking right and fucking just.
Off we go.
It's like off you go
We
to
don't
join
need
the
you.
continent of Moo, bitch. Right, for real. Like, bye.
We don't want you here anymore. You can just go do your own thing.
So you can go be an underwater city, really.
We don't love you anymore. Go away.
That implies we ever did at all.
Okay, visiting San Francisco back in the 90s was a lot of fun. It was a cool place. Definitely a neat city. Fun place to visit. Now, not so much.
Oh, you mean with like having to wear a hazmat suit to walk down the street? Yeah. Denver's turning into that now. Like fucking everyone, all these fucking cunts are like, oh yeah, we hate it here in fucking California and fucking all these other areas that are shit, right? Let's go to Denver and make that shit too, right? I was like, you didn't see that the problem is you assholes,
They're so
right?
smart. Or people. They're so smart.
They're so fucking
Why do we
smart.
allow
How come
people to live anymore? Why haven't we not taken over the world yet?
we haven't? Have
Oh
we
yeah,
invented
money
Soylent
and
Green?
effort. And minions are so difficult to find that are worth their time.
It's hard to find good henchmen these days. Oh man, fucking busy as shit, dude. I haven't even time to do game development. I haven't done game development in
Your
nearly.
engine's probably just sitting in like holding pattern basically at this point.
It is. But the thing is, I put it on hold because I needed to get those quality issues resolved for like, and it took a few months, right? That took like 60-hour weeks every fucking week for like 3 straight months. And And like I was willing to put that time in because I asked them straight up. I was like, I've been putting in a lot of effort, right, and improving. I've done everything you fucking asked ever, and you very clearly said I'm getting better at what I do, right, in terms of dealing with people and all this other bullshit. So I want that promotion I was promised 2 years ago. You know, the one that you've been making me work like a dog for. I think I've earned it at this point on just pure merit, but also in terms of just the skill and the time I've put in, right? Like there is no justifiable reason why you shouldn't give it to me. And they may start dicking me around because they're like, oh yeah, well, you know, there's other reasons why I wouldn't give it to you. What are those reasons? You're a bitch. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna be a bitch anyway, right? But I'm a really good fucking bitch. So you got to find a new reason because that's the same old fucking reason I've heard, right?
You're a bitch. It's like, yeah, I know.
Yeah, it's just
Tell me something I don't know. It's like, come on.
like I'm actually getting put into like a book because of something I said. I said a specific quote, and the person writing the book is putting it into the book, right? But basically, who I am, right, is the source of all my talent and drive, right? Basically, I just said that, and they're like, that's really good. Can I use that? And I'm like, yeah,
Well,
go for
that's
it.
always
So,
been the thing since you and I met.
mm,
Was the fact
it's-
that all this ancillary shit about us doesn't matter. What matters is all the shit we've gone through and all the skills we've built dealing with all that.
yeah, it's not like people seem to act right. Like fucking basically, they can take away all of the other stuff and just get the one thing that they fucking want because that's useful to them. All the other stuff is not useful. It's just cruft, right? They don't understand. All the other stuff is what builds that one thing they want. It comes as a package, right? You can't just take like fucking you can't just take one part of someone and completely suppress everything else. That just leads to fucking failure because that's how that
And
people
yet-
know they're being manipulated.
And then yet we look at all this shit online and that's all people are doing. It's so
Right.
dumb. Like,
I'm
I
like,
looked
bro.
at this one comic that was online. Showed a trans girl. And she's early in her transition. I thought she looked very passable in the art, but whatever. The point was she was not comfortable and whatnot. What does she do? She goes and she gets her hair colored to the fucking trans flag and then wonders why people are all like keeping their distance from her, kind of finding things awkward to deal with. She gets talked to at work, her family. It's like, yeah, because you're shoving this one aspect of who you are in everyone's face and ignoring everything else. It's like, yeah, people don't like this shit. Like, be the badass in all these other ways. No one gives a shit if you're trans.
It works the other way too, right? Like fucking if you're being a dick and you're ignoring all the other stuff about you, people are just gonna think you're a dick, right?
Yeah.
Because they don't see anything else, right? So you know you have to basically you are a whole person. If you're not a whole person, then you're just an asshole, right? For real, like
Yeah. Like, that's why I talk about work. I talk about a lot of work stuff. I talk about all the crazy people I deal with. And it's like, yeah, this is a lot more fun to talk about because it's not me.
All right, I feel as if you're calling me out because all I've done this entire fucking stream is me. But
yeah, but your work
busy.
stuff's fun. I enjoy that shit. And
Yeah,
this is
well,
my stream, so fuck Twitch chat. Sorry, y'all.
Well, some of your audience is actually kind of appreciated the fact that I talk about this stuff because that like other tech channels, like proper tech channels, they don't fucking talk about this aspect of tech at all, right? They don't tell you how to go into an interview and approach it correctly. Like they'll tell you can go to general career development channels for that, but here in tech, it's completely fucking like everything in the tech industry, right, is completely fucking out the window compared to other fucking industries, and I think it's just because it's so young, and by comparison,
It
right?
is. Like, my dad's been in it since, what, 83? No, 85. And my grandma, who had passed away, she went into tech as a secondary job. As a programmer. And it's like, yeah, it's a crazy young industry, but people of all types have been in it forever. And it's kind of fun to see how it's all changed. In some ways, a lot of stupidity. In some ways, still a lot of really cool shit.
Yeah, like all right, one of the things that fuck. basically one of the things that I've been doing is trying to teach younger people, like especially fresh out of college, right? Because they don't teach any of this shit. They just tell you tech shit, like I've been saying, right? And so one of the things I see young people make the mistake with is they think that technology is all about learning the new cool shit, right? And every single time a new thing comes along, they're like, "Ooh, shiny," and then they fuck off and do that instead, without actually appreciating anything about what they've learned. So effectively, they don't actually know anything. They just have a bunch of technology on their resume, so they look good. But then they get a job and they're completely fucking useless, right? One of the juniors that I trained up, I taught him this to not do that. I taught him learn one thing very, very well, and learn a bunch of stuff that correlates with it, and you'll be much better off in terms of just learning and bringing yourself through your career, right, than any of your peers, right? And he's like, he took him about 6 months for him to finally realize that I'm not full of shit, and now he actually is the lead of a project, right? He had to be basically my role, like 10 years before he was ready, right? And he's like, I wasn't ready for this, Jay. I was like, he's like, you were absolutely right. I was not, I didn't focus on the right things. But now I was like, but you did focus on one thing. And he's like, I've been focusing on one thing. I'm like, good, keep that up, and then build up your personality profile as well as your tech profile. I know the tech industry is so fucking young, right? It's thrown out learned lessons from other industries. Like, let me put it this way, right? I've been talking about quality issues all the time in these interviews because that's been my problem. I always focus on high quality, right? In tech, right? People think that, oh, once you program a line of code, it's done, it's dusted. Who gives a shit, right? It works, right?
There's so many ways of improving shit.
Oh yeah, no, but like, it's like building. I've been comparing it to building a house, right? If your users get an application, a lot of people are thinking, oh well, that application's built now. It's out there and they're fucking using it. Good for us, right? It doesn't matter what it looks like under the hood, right? Think about it in terms of a house, though, right? If you build a fucking house, right, and sure, it looks good on the outside because it's got fucking like it's designed, aesthetically pleasingly, and it's got a fresh lick of paint on it, right? But the inside's infested with fucking rats. There's no the plumbing's fucking burst. The fucking electricity's not to code, right? The foundation's falling apart, right? Would you buy that house?
There's some fixer-uppers worth it. Some.
But that's it. You just kind of hit the nail on the head where I'm trying to get at, right? With a fixer-upper, right, you see the potential of it being better, and then you fix it. But people don't treat code like that. People treat it like it's monolithic, and it's like, oh, well, why do we have regressions? You shouldn't be causing regressions. I'm like, because this one piece of code that I'm working on is part of a larger ecosystem that is also written like shit, right?
Well, there was a reason why for the longest time devs did things a certain way, and
yeah,
there's some things that are streamlined now, which is really good, but it's also caused the problem of certain mistakes happening more and more.
Oh god, yeah.
It kind of annoys me because you see it happen in the video game industry so much with games now, and it's like, this is a mistake that needs to be fixed, but it never is.
No, they don't give a shit because I was talking about this on LinkedIn actually because I post a lot on LinkedIn. I try to post there at least 3 or 4 times a week, and I've been writing weekly articles. Yeah, my last one was on basically online ads, right? We've gone back to the time where fucking online ads are fucking basically animated GIFs and fucking pop-ins and pop-ups, basically. We haven't changed that paradigm literally the entire fucking time the internet's been for business, right? And I don't mind online ads as a concept, right? It's just that ad designers are fucking morons, right? They have never found a way that works with the way people work and the way people think, right? Like, and so I studied the neuroscience aspect of it, right? Like, the brain is really good at shoving out information that's not relevant. So all these ads all over your fucking shit, right, to get ads, like, the ad space and whatnot, they don't work because the brain has already filtered them out, right? You're more focused on the actual thing you give a shit about. So now they've got these popovers where like, oh yeah, here's a fucking advertiser. During the article I was writing, right, while I was actually writing it, I had to go to a website to read another article. And in the middle of that thing, 2 ads appeared, popped up over each other and the content, and I couldn't fucking get to the content I wanted. And I'm like, bro, if I wasn't here on purpose to do this thing, I'd have gone.
That's the issue I have with a lot of news sites too. It's just,
Oh,
it's
yeah, I
such
fucking hate
shitty
that.
design, and it's like, why are you doing this?
Yeah, no, it pisses me off, dude. We're like, oh yeah, we're gonna let you see part of the article, but you have to subscribe. I'm like, done. I'm gonna go to a fucking local news site and get this article instead.
Where they
because
already got the AP poll, which is the exact same article.
yeah, it's the exact same fucking article without the opinions added on top. Because that's what most news is these days. Right? Let's not
Funny.
lie. But like, yeah, the ad space designers think they're being cool with like, oh yeah, let's develop pop-ups, right? That whoever fucking invented that shit, or I fucking find you, dude, I'm gonna decapitate you with my fucking bare hands. I'm gonna squeeze your neck so fucking hard it will pop your fucking head off. Like the guy who invented spam email, right? You know he's one of the most hated people on the fucking planet, right?
Oh
And
yeah.
thing is, this wasn't just something that happened over time. This happened just like literally the second he invented it. Like
oh yeah.
he got
Newsletter
reprimanded for doing.
email things was. It's
Yeah.
so handy for marketing, but at the same time, I hate it with passion.
Everyone hates it, and except the people who benefit from it, right? The people who benefit from it love it, right? Because they don't
yeah.
actually think about anything other than their benefit. They're not
A
thinking
lot of
of how to,
clients have made a lot of money that way.
like this is why ads ad space on YouTube is really hard to work with, because like YouTube's actually finally profitable now, right? Like finally, because they've shoved more ads in people's faces, but like people fucking hate it. They cannot stand it. And it's just like,
That's been nothing but a point of frustration.
oh no, oh I know the frequency of the ads,
Although-
the fucking
I will say, the company that owns Warhammer is doing a really smart thing. They're starting their own video platform just for content around that IP. And they literally
Good.
are paying YouTubers to delete their accounts on YouTube. They will buy all the content that's on their channels on YouTube and upload it to their new platform. And
So
then
basically
pay
they-
them to be on there. It's like, no, we'll pay you to come over here, and we'll pay you for your content.
So they're trying to do what that guy with glasses fucking did all those years ago. I cannot believe we went back in time to 2006.
Yeah, but here's the funny thing. I think it'll actually work.
Right? There you go. No.
Because they're
It's-
like, okay, we don't want people who are doing adult content with our IP. We want to
Woo-woo.
get rid of people who are, breaking our terms of service. We don't want people who are this. They're fine with people criticizing them, which is shocking for a corporation.
Yeah, you know how
But so
corporate
long as you're
corporate
making
culture is.
quality content that people want to watch, it's like, no, we want you on our platform. You won't have the horrible CPM fluctuation bullshit stuff, and we'll give you money. It's like, okay.
Yeah, no,
Like,
I
it's like,
fucking
how much
I
are
fucking
people
love
gonna
that idea.
appreciate this? A lot.
Yeah, that's an IP that has a very large fan base.
And the thing
So
is,
it makes sense for them to do that.
And the nice thing is, they're not going after people who are like 3D printing custom things to add to their models, which technically breaks TOS. But they let it slide because it's like, no, it's growing our fan base. It's growing 3D modeling, which is a whole industry that is fantastic.
Well, I don't know about nowadays, right? But back when I was playing Warhammer, some of the stuff that was in the codex manuals, like the add-ons for the characters, didn't exist. You had to sculpt it yourself. So 3D printers changed them.
And being
changed
able
that.
to 3D print your own landscape stuff to then do for things for like tournaments and stuff.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. So that
No,
they're being
that's awesome.
intelligent in knowing how much to protect their IP, but without crushing the fandom at the same time.
They're going the Valve route. Then it sounds like.
Yep. They're being protectionist without going like Hasbro level of crazy.
Yeah, you don't have to go Hasbro level. You don't have to fucking go Nintendo level. Even Sega's doing that shit now.
Yeah.
Like, come on, Sega,
And
what
I
the
just
fuck
look
are you
at
doing?
it and I go, I never expected a big company to be smart about this.
Yeah, basically everyone thinks they can. Well, not everyone, but all these big corporations think they can exploit the internet. One of the things my next article is actually going to be on how companies try to exploit meme culture to basically like get buy-in, and how that how it's not basically what companies can learn from retards on the internet, right? Like you can.
On the internet.
Pro tip for these massive corporations: you will never be smarter than some autist on 4chan. All right.
Well,
They'll-
okay. We have to bring this up. The Shia LaBeouf situation of
Mhm.
his
That's
stupid
going in there.
flag. We will
That-
not.
That never challenge the internet. Fucking the internet historian has a great video on it. But I'm
one
a
of the best things ever. In this
oh god. They didn't even mention the fucking Mountain Dew one. I was waiting for it the entire video. I'm just like, where the fuck is Austrian mustache man fucking Mountain Dew? I posted that in the chat at work. I'm like, because they re-released that flavor as a different name now, and I was like, oh dude, yeah, my favorite flavor of Mountain Dew's back, and they're like, back, it's a new flavor. I'm like, it's not.
Yeah, no,
They-
it's definitely not.
No, those bottles still still sell in private auctions. They don't put them on eBay anymore. eBay will fucking delist them. But yeah, they sell for like 10, 20 grand now just for a bottle of
I
Mountain Dew
still
with
have
no,
a bottle of
nothing in
the
it.
Quantum Nuka-Cola that one company made.
Oh Christ!
It's still sitting up there. It's still sealed. It still glows in the dark if you put UV light on it.
Oh my god!
And I'm keeping it there because that thing, the amount of offers of money I've gotten for it has made it very tempting to sell. But for the memes, I keep keeping it because it's like, no.
for the
this is great.
you're doing it for the memes. I love that shit.
It's like, yeah, I could literally get a nice amount of money, but it's like, no. I paid a couple bucks for it at Target, and it's like, no, I'm keeping this one. I drank the other ones I got, but this one,
Oh my god!
I'm fucking keeping this shit. It's gonna
Oh
be
my
like
God.
that guy who had the surge bottles,
Oh yeah, I remember him.
and then sold them for tons of money. It's like, and then I think he kept one, and he still opened it and drank it.
That's a fucking big dick move right there.
I'm like, that's like the idiot guy who fucking drank a whole bottle of, what was it? Magnesium.
Oh god, the milk of magnesia.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-mm.
It's like, dude, you're going to need your phone charger in the bathroom because you're going to be miserable for the next hours.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Pro tip: don't drink milk of magnesia unless you actually need to drink it, because of chemistry. Basically, it's a chemical reaction in your body at a very sensitive part of your fucking body. All right, don't do that shit.
Well, as I reminded one person, I'm like, he's basically going to have sores on his butt from sitting there so long on that hard seat because it's so sad.
Yeah, it's
I'd
Yeah.
feel bad, but he was also one of those idiots that listened to the internet. It's like, well, I have this. I want to like detox my system, and someone told him to do that. It's like,
oh god.
it's like the
I'm a-
idiots that fell for the delete system 32 crap. You know.
Oh,
it's-
there's a headphone jack in your iPhone. Go out and buy a brand new iPhone and fucking go do this aftermarket mod.
It's just,
That's what I mean. Autists on the internet are smarter than you, right? They just because they're autists, right, and they can't get girlfriends, right, doesn't mean they're not fucking smarter than you. They have nothing better to do because they're not getting laid. So
they will come up
deal
with
with it.
some of the funniest stupid shit.
Oh god, they'll fuck with you hard too. That's the thing. Like that's the thing. I don't go on like the 4chans or whatever, like fucking all that shit. I
Nah,
don't.
More often
I-
than not, there's more bullshit than anything else on there. It's just not worth it.
I don't have time for it. I really don't. I don't understand. I've admitted this many times. I basically don't understand internet culture at that level because I'm not there, and I don't pretend that I am one of those
Well,
people.
we
right?
have
Like,
what's called lives.
yeah, I know, right? I can't be involved in every fucking meme, right? So every time like I see like a new thing, and I'm just like, what's the context behind this? I don't understand, and I get shit on by people like, oh well, blah blah blah. I'm like, I don't know about that shit. I'm legitimately asking because I'm busy doing real world shit, right? The last time I went on fucking 4chan, I happened to find a thread about me on there, right? Just by complete accident. That was like a fucking 2014, 2015, something like that. And it's basically someone
Hmm,
asking about who
think
I was
so,
because
that-
they were like, I wasn't looking for it either. I just happened to find it in B. I was just like, oh, fuck. It's like I don't like that's the last time I've been on it just because it's not something I'm interested in. I don't go on Reddit. I don't use Twitter anymore. Obviously, I post on Facebook quite a bit, but it's really more like
I
I've been doing
fucking
more
hate
public
Facebook.
posts.
I'm so glad I left
I
that platform.
uh, Facebook basically is I have a fairly large following over there, so I don't want to leave it. But on the other hand, it's like it's kind of a time sink. But you know,
It
whatever.
is.
I've met some really cool people like in real life from there, so it's
Oh
like
yeah,
all right, you know.
like I've some of our trans sisters that I've met
Mm.
were through Facebook, and they were
Yeah.
the sensible ones in the groups. They weren't like the crazed loonies. And
Yeah, like
I love them to death. One of them I still would love to meet. I just unfortunately she's had some mental health problems in the past year. I don't blame her. I have too. But it's like I still want to go to Iowa and meet her and hang out with her and meet her little one and everything. Because like, one, she was fucking hot, even though she's gained a lot of weight.
hey man,
I don't care. She's a badass, and I want to hang out with her.
hey man, you know me with some of them big bitches, dude. They
Like,
got bigger
hey,
titties.
I am not a skinny
saying.
bitch. I am definitely fat. Like I don't hide it. It's never held me back in the dating world, but I'm not going to, judge people that way. She's loved dark humor. I'm like, this is great. I love this shit.
Okay, let's see where we at with this.
And there's a reason I get along so well with Sophia is because we literally have similar senses of humor sometimes. Good grief. I think that's the reason why you and her would get along just as well.
Yeah, I haven't had time to talk to her. Like, I haven't had time to do anything other than work shit. For like 3 straight weeks, I was studying every day. I was pulling like 16-hour days every fucking day. I didn't take a day off for weeks and weeks. And so like, yeah, like I'm not talking to my brother anymore actually over this shit because I finally had it out with him.
Lynn's has been my one outlet to have some break and relaxation, but she's been on vacation all week. So of course, what did I do? I work myself to death, not eat much, just fucking be an idiot.
Yeah, I feel that. Like, one of the things I really gotta do is I've got a stack of books over there. They're not all technical books. For once, they're all nonfiction, of course, but I
Yay,
don't read fiction
nonfiction.
books. I don't read fiction books. My life is so interesting as it is. I can't get into fiction.
I think, well, okay, like the Dune books are still good, like Neuromancer and some of those older, like fiction ones are still really good. But yeah, there are some fucking recent fiction ones that it's like, dude, my life is crazier than this shit. Like, just
I
no.
read about war history, right, quite a bit. When I do read like something that isn't
Hey,
technical
my
or career
history
development.
topic shit is fucking fantastic. I rented, speaking of history stuff, so we had an idiot news article written by someone, and they claim that cowboy culture and country music came from black people.
Oh, I saw that.
Only black people. I'm like, do you not understand? We had cowboys of all racial types going back to the 1800s. During the earliest part of this starting to settle in Michigan and Wisconsin and Missouri and shit like that. It's like, we had people of all races. We had Chinese. We had
Yeah,
Native Americans that were some of the earliest cowboys. We had
yeah.
blacks, whites, all the
They were some
variations
of the best ones
of
too,
blacks and
because
whites.
they could live on the land. Yeah,
We had the
no, for
Germans
real.
hating the Polish, both of them hating the Irish at the same time, and they were all cowboys. Like,
Yeah,
and
no.
the part was, it was so a-racial and so uniquely American. It's kind of cool. It's a rather interesting heritage thing that no other place in the world has ever had.
Yeah, it's the
like
one reason
jazz
I like.
music in the United States. It's such a unique thing.
It's why I like going to Cheyenne every now and again, because basically Cheyenne was the capital of the Old West, effectively. And so they have that's the one thing that you go there for once a year to go to Frontier Days, where they do they
I
have,
was there.
they
I
have
marched
rodeos.
in Frontier Days back in, oh good lord, high school.
it's fucking awesome, right? Isn't it
Oh,
not?
yeah.
Like it's such a fun time. And so I lived in Cheyenne for quite a bit, and it's not there's no reason to live there unless you want to settle down and get away from the rest of the world, right? It's like 30
Yeah.
years behind the rest of everywhere else. But Frontier Days is the one week of the year where it's actually like happening there, and I like it. And they basically address a lot of cowboy history. Fucking it's so if you're into cowboy shit, right? That's one of the things to go do
Colorado and
in this part.
Wyoming has so much of that. It is.
Oh yeah, like I was talking to my roommates about that. Oh, I didn't even. That's not roommates. My neighbor's roommate about that. I don't have roommates. I forgot. Sorry, misspoke.
You have roommates.
No, I can't do that shit anymore. But that was actually one of the things we were talking about. Is basically there's a I forget which town it is around here. There's a cowboy museum and I want to go. Because I'm into cowboy shit. Fucking cowboys are cool as hell, right? Like I've seen Tombstone probably like fucking 20 million times.
Oh, any of
Fucking
the old Clint Eastwood movies?
Clint Eastwood movies, fucking like True Grit. I watched both of those fucking both versions of it. Fucking loved it. Fucking oh god, John Wayne movies, right? Like fucking oh god. So because cowboy movies are not just one straight genre. There's comedy cowboy movies. There's fucking action cowboy movies. There's political cowboy movies.
There's mystery ones even, which
there's mystery
a lot of people
ones.
don't realize.
Yeah, like fucking there's thrillers, right? Like fucking there's a lot of like that. There's a lot of like variation in that one type of movie. It's just a setting, and right, like and that covered quite a long period of history in relatively speaking, right? Like in terms of that type of culture.
Yeah.
Like the world was ridiculously so, right? So it still exists today. Just like we have here in Denver, we have like not fucking we have the cattle show that goes through downtown. Like it's a parade where they parade up their thing, and then you can go. There's black westerns like the Django Unchained. Yeah, I haven't seen that one yet. Is it worth watching? Because I don't like fucking it's Tarantino, right? Fucking I'm thinking the right movie.
I would
It's
say
Tarantino.
it's
It's hyper violence. Am I thinking the wrong one?
bad.
Okay. All right. Cool.
Like,
Because yeah,
I wouldn't say it's one of my favorites, but I was entertained.
Okay. Because I've kind of just I'm one of those people that doesn't have time to watch shit when it comes out or do shit when it comes out. So I like put it. Yeah. Okay. It's Tarantino. Yeah. I don't think Tarantino's a particularly talented
He's overrated.
writer. He's definitely overrated. Like he basically is really good at implementing other people's ideas, but not coming up with ones on his own. And so that's fine, right? But I really wish he'd try to branch away from that because that's all he's ever fucking done. And so it's like, I know, I fucking hate Kill Bill because I like people think because I like samurai shit that I like Kill Bill, and I'm like no, I fucking love actual samurai shit. Kill Bill is a fucking just horrible mess of other people's fucking concepts and nothing original. Like I'd seen everything in all there already before.
Kill Bill was basically a cinema circle jerk where it's like we want to do certain things with this story, and that's fine. There's a time and a place for films like that.
Just yeah.
Sometimes, unfortunately, it's not going to be as entertaining as you would like.
Yeah, I know people love it because it's fucking ultra violent and all this other shit, and it's like, oh, it has the anime section and blah 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 blah. I'm just like, that's my problem with it. That it's so fucking all over the place. It doesn't actually have an identity of its own. And I'm like, I see the potential for that kind of story.
They wanted just a whole mess of stuff in it to kind of play with a lot of things that weren't being done at the time, which is good. Like it's fun to break out of the mold and try new things. There's a reason why a lot of indie video games, despite their flaws, are very popular. Because they broke out of the mold, they tried something new or fresh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And films are the same thing.
Yeah, no, that's what I want to see from Tarantino as a moviegoer. Right, basically, I've pretty much watched. I stopped watching him after I forget exactly where I was at with that one, but I just stopped. I just was like, this is more of the same shit. Like I got bored of it. Like I go back and watch like Reservoir Dogs, and I'm like, okay, that's a fucking good movie, right? It is basically just. It's not an homage or anything like that, but it is very similar to a lot of other movies, but it's got its own kind of twists and turns, right? And so He hasn't made a movie like that in fucking forever, right? Like Jackie Brown, right? Another good one.
Oh,
Not
yeah, I
best,
forgot
but
about
not it's yeah. Everyone forgets about that one, right? It's a good one, but it's not great, right? Everyone
Yeah.
thinks of Pulp Fiction when they think of great films. I'm like, I don't think that one's even the best one. Like, I think that one's just all right. Like, yeah, I'm gonna be that guy,
I
right?
get
Fuck you.
crap because I don't put Blade Runner as high as some people. Like, that's another one where it's like, I understand why some people like it and they put it that high, but I just can't.
Yeah, I don't know if you don't follow me on Facebook, so you didn't see my top 10 sci-fi that wasn't top 10 sci-fi series taken as a whole. So basically, you had to take the entirety of a series, not just its one season of it. Like, so, for example, I love Deep Space Nine, but I couldn't take the entirety of Star Trek and leave out Deep Space Nine, or vice versa, because Deep Space Nine has a lot of references to other stuff. Basically, it comes with
Well,
homework,
yeah, you have
effectively.
references to a bunch of different ones all in it, especially early on with Next Generation.
Oh yeah, no, Next Generation is peak Star Trek in terms of just being accessible, right? But, it
Yeah.
relies a little bit on the previous series, but there's enough of the story to get away without doing that all the time. Whereas Deep Space Nine heavily relies on previous knowledge of TNG and the original Star Trek. You can't get around it. It's fucking in your face with how much it is. And Voyager suffers from that too, but like whatever. So I had to take the entirety of a series, like a sci-fi series. When I gave my top 10, Star Trek wasn't even the fucking top 30. All right, like, just let's be honest here. All right, Babylon 5 and Farscape fucking far exceed like fucking Star Trek in my
Farscape
opinion.
is way underrated.
Oh god, everyone I've talked to about Farscape fucking is like, yeah, that's a good one. Like, sure, it shows its age quite.
Even Firefly is still underrated.
Yeah, Firefly is not in my top 10, but it's definitely in my top 20. I'd put it at like 12, maybe 13. It
Yeah.
fluctuates because the thing about sci-fi series, taking a whole sci-fi series, is that the individual like series or like the series that are much shorter in their runs, that they tend to do better in that kind of context because they're not bogged down with a bunch of shit, right? Farscape very clearly had an idea it was building up towards from the start of it, right? And it ends, and it builds upon its continuity in a very rapid way, so that each episode actually matters. There's no filler episodes, effectively. There's a couple that feel like filler, but then later on.
I was actually just gonna say that there are a couple that kind of feel like it.
Like that, like the fucking, there's that one with the magic dude who fucking traps Krace and that one. It feels like a filler episode, but that comes back quite a bit later on. It establishes a continuity thing.
Twice.
Yeah, twice, and then they basically, that's the episode they establish magic, and because a lot of sci-fi is all about magic, right? And like how magic is either bullshit or magic's a thing that exists. And Farscape basically is like, okay, magic and like fucking spirituality is a thing that exists in this universe and it's tangible, right? But it's just at the point where they don't understand it fully, right? But it's accepted that this is a thing that exists, and they build that up in that episode. Yeah.
Yeah,
like,
and that was something that surprised me a little bit, because a lot of them take the route where it's like, no, we're just gonna have it be tech only, and it's like, but the Arcanum method of having the two side by side is actually, I think, sometimes a little bit more fun. Have a good night, Madre.
Take it easy, darling. But yeah, Farscape fucking just far exceeded expectations. Like, sure, there's a couple of cringe episodes, like the one where basically it's a whole Looney Tunes cartoon. That one,
God, that was so dumb.
Like, it's so dumb, but I kind of appreciate it as well.
Oh yeah, I watched the whole thing, even though I was just kind of like, I want to pound my head on the desk,
like,
and just be like,
it wasn't the thing I like about Farscape, it wasn't afraid to do things like that, where it was like the whole fucking the part where you discover what the parallel bullshit, right? And so you see what that could possibly look like. Like, their explanation of how that works is really, really good, because it's basically the characters in universe understand it, but the audience doesn't, and they don't fucking try to like water it down like, oh, tachyon pulses and fucking, midichlorians and shit, right? Like, they just explain it to you, and they don't fucking pull their punches with it. If you don't get it, that's fine, but they're not gonna fucking like sit and hang out for you to get it. They're gonna move on with something else, right? Um,
Or like
I'm
when
try-
they finally explain how his brain became the way it was.
oh yeah,
Finally, like that was like, okay, this actually kind of makes some sense.
my
I'm
thing,
glad
my
they
thing.
held off and they dragged it out for the right amount of time
Mm.
without having it be this just get to the point already.
Yeah,
Like
like
some
they
series do
they
that.
they establish shit really early on that pays off at the very end of the show. Like, and it's not like they were they wrote themselves into a corner and they have to go with this. They have to go with an idea that's earlier on. No, they fucking build this up slowly. It's a slow crawl, but it's really good.
I always take it's the difference between two different writing styles. There's the one where you storyboard the long part and then you start filling in and everything. And then there's the ones where you start and then you just kind of make it up as you go along.
Yeah. So I mean,
and
Farscape did.
that latter. That latter
Mhm.
fucking annoys me.
That's basically the lost like the idea of writing, right? Where it's just like, just put more fucking crazy shit, and like, and basically they're like, oh, we're going somewhere with this, but they weren't going anywhere with it. It was all bullshit.
Yeah,
They were
and
doing
you
that to
see
get
it with
you to
TV
fucking
all the time, and
Mhm.
it's fucking depressing. Plain
Yeah,
simple.
yeah, fucking. But Babylon 5 is just like, yeah. These my two favorite ones are very old shows, right? By relatively speaking, they're like 20 years old now, right? 25 years old, something like that, maybe even. No, I think about that because they're like mid 90s.
Yeah.
But like, they were so well done and so ahead of their time that the ideas in them still hold up. Maybe the effects don't, but sci-fi is not about effects. Sci-fi has always been about exploration of uncomfortable ideas in a setting that basically pulls us out of our comfort zone into a brand new world where we can
Okay.
explore these things.
I'm gonna go on this rant because this is good.
Go
That's
for it.
one of the reasons why Dune is my favorite.
Sure. Yeah. I'm not even a big fan of
The amount of uncomfortable things you have to deal with in that setting is massive. You're dealing with gender. You're dealing with, because you have obviously different groups and definitely very interesting gender role stuff where some are very traditional, some are very much not traditional.
Sure. Yeah, no, it's all over the place. Like
You have really wacky economic things and political things and racial things. And it's there's so many things. You have the whole personal journey to figuring yourself out part.
there's
Like, there's
there's definitely a magic component to that universe as well, but
Oh
like
yeah, with the spice when it comes to you have like it being used in tech with space travel, but at the same time you have all the magic stuff with the Bene Gesserits, which
Yeah.
completely fascinating at the same time. How you got this, I still will never forgive sci-fi for the stupid statement of the whole political tripod being an unstable thing, the most unstable of structures. It's like tripod is not an unstable structure.
no.
The structure that it was built on with the the royal houses, the Bene Gesserits, and the trading guild, the spacing guild. Yes, that is very unstable. But the fact that it's a tripod is not. Like it's like the U.S. government. You got the three branches. It's an unstable one, not because it's three, but because of the human factor.
Yeah, no. All right.
And
So
that's
basically,
something that people just never caught on in the Sci-Fi Network version of Dune and Children of Dune because they're idiots.
well, all right. So for them to not get that, you're missing the entire fucking point of the story, right? Like,
Yeah, like you hear
It's
it,
a
and
political thriller.
It's the stupidest thing you have ever heard. But if you don't continue in dealing with it and understanding what's going on, you just miss out on everything.
like, all right, the Kwisatz Haderach, right, and that journey of discovery, right, is just is a framing device for the entire setting of space politics and exploring that fucking idea. Basically you need that fucking like that mysticism bullshit, right, to have this boring ass shit, right? Basically this is why Dune works, right, and fucking Star Wars doesn't work, right? The prequels in particular, because in the
It's so
prequels,
true.
blah 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 blah, fucking, you know, Naboo, blah 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 blah, fucking, you know, vote no confidence, right? Nobody gives a shit, right? I had to watch that 6 times before I actually understood what the fuck was happening, right? Now I actually understand it. I'm like, oh, so basically Palpatine saw that Palpatine saw that
Planned
the fucking
ahead.
entire yeah, he basically he saw that the Republic was basically full of corrupt assholes all around him. So he's like, fuck it, why not I just be the top dog corrupt asshole? He's not. Everyone says that Palpatine's evil as fuck. I'm like, yeah, but you look around him, everyone's either inept, fucking corrupt, or just as bad as him. There's no good people in the story, right? At all.
Yeah.
They think they're good, and from our perspective, they're good because like we've got our values. But if you look at it from their perspective, no, everyone's an asshole. The rebels are the biggest assholes because they don't fucking get that.
And the funny part is, it's one of those things where it's just like I completely understand why people get upset and go completely wackadoodle sometimes. It's like, yeah, when you deal with this shit constantly, wouldn't you?
Yeah, right? Fucking imagine, right, fucking having the Jedi, right? The so-called fucking protectors of the fucking Republic, right? They outright say several times, "Oh, we're not doing that shit. Fuck you." The only reason they're forced to do it is because Palpatine set up a situation that they couldn't refuse, so he could take advantage of it, right? He saw
Yeah.
their weakness and fucking crushed them for it. And they were completely powerless because they were fucking
I
they were
kind of
corrupt.
love how much
and
shit
inept.
is taken from Dune for like Battlestar Galactica, Star Wars, and all this other shit. It's like, do you not understand where this shit came from? Where these people were inspired from?
Well, with Dune in particular, the I don't know if you've seen the there's
The new trailers.
no, I'm not even that. It was the original attempt to make Dune into a movie.
Oh, the
It
80s
failed.
one, yes, with Patrick Stewart as Gertie.
No. There was the original one. That's not even the
Oh,
original
the
one.
one before that one, yes.
The one before that. Basically, the guy who did that had want to implement it the way it was written, right? And it was just ended up being one of the most expensive
It's
things
not
ever.
possible to do it in film form. If you did, let's say, a
Yeah.
Game of Thrones type HBO situation as a miniseries, yes. And that's the reason
Yeah.
why I think sci-fi succeeded. They just obviously cut it short because of money and management didn't like it, even though it was very successful.
My thing
I
is,
think
right, the guy
also they kind of didn't realize that Children of Dune trying to squeeze that much content into one miniseries was not a good idea.
No, you have to draw it out, right? Like basically
It's
they
the
wanted
same
to,
issue that Dan Mache had with season 2. They tried to squeeze too much into a season, and it angered everyone, and it was the worst season.
so basically the guy who basically was coming up with that movie and his team had all this shit, right? You know how like in video games you have the game's Bible effectively, where it's the entire design doc, right? They did that for that movie back in the 60s, right? This is when they were trying to attempt it. And basically this movie never got made because it was too fucking ridiculous in its scope. But that book has inspired pretty much all sci-fi from that point on.
Yeah, I mean, it inspired the 80s movie, inspired the Sci-Fi Network one. It's still
And not
inspiring
even
the reboot
Dune.
this time around.
Not
Yeah,
even
but it
Dune.
inspired
Aliens,
like
Alien,
the
the whole
Alien
Alien
movies.
series.
Yep.
Yeah, fucking pretty much like every single thing that came after it. But and like there's a YouTube channel that actually goes through it and shows the examples in the concepts that were in there, and then shows how they influence sci-fi and
Gene
even non-sci-fi.
Roddenberry even was inspired by it.
Yeah. Oh, very clearly. I don't know if you've ever seen
People
Gene
don't know
Roddenberry's
that.
Earth Final Conflict. I don't know if you've ever seen that one.
Nope.
It was okay. It was
Nope.
basically made after he died. It was one of his other concepts. You know how in Star Trek they wouldn't do conspiracy shit while Gene Roddenberry was still alive because like the Federation was this idea that was like, oh, they're the good guys, blah blah blah, right? They had that one episode of TNG in the first season, and that's it. They didn't do that shit anymore until DS9 come around. But then by then Roddenberry had fucking already been buried in the ground. Oh, excuse me. Basically, Roddenberry came up with an idea way back when that it was implemented by his wife. God bless her, right? Basically, it was basically all that. The entire thing was basically one massive conspiracy. The show's riddled with problems, right? It's basically the main cast members get killed a lot because they want to leave the show, because they didn't see where it was going. Which is kind of cool in terms of plot. They weren't afraid to kill the main character.
Oh, you want to leave? Okay, well, we're just gonna kill you off. Okay, goodbye.
Yeah. But like in terms of the actual like ideas that are expressed, yeah, it's kind of a mess, but it's a lovable mess, right? Basically, aliens. Have you ever watched Stargate?
Oh yeah, I've seen all
Do
the
you-
movies. I've watched all
Okay.
of SG-1
Do you remember
and
the
all of
the
Atlantis too.
Do you remember the Ashen?
Yes,
Okay, imagine an entire series about them.
actually, that could be rather enjoyable. In all
It's
honesty.
actually really enjoyable. Like there's some really good moments in there. I'm not going to spoil it for you because it's a ride. Let me tell you, like it's a mess, right? But it's one of those ones that like you kind of come better better on in the end than you do in the beginning, right? The beginning's really rough. But like I enjoyed it very much. The final season's kind of shite. We're gonna just throw that one out there right now. They could have just ended it where they ended it, and they didn't have to go any further. They did try to milk it a little bit, or at least it feels that way. I don't know. I don't know much
Really?
about the original writing.
A series
um,
trying to do that? Oh,
Yeah, and it suffers for it. But like the seasons before that are really enjoyable. Like I think the character's name's called Kincaid. He's a pretty good character. Like he has this whole I'm not going to spoil it because whatever, but he has a double life he leads. But that's like the whole thing. Basically, it's all about taking on this these benefactors that have come to Earth, right, to help humanity. But are they helping humanity? We don't know. We don't know. We don't know for like most of the show's run if they're actually like what they're here for. And so that it's
honestly, I
basically
would
an
tend to
exploration.
assume the worst, but that's just me.
Yeah, no. Some people assume the worst in there, and so the whole thing is about like people trying to discover that, right? Fucking love that, right? So that was on my top 10. At the very towards the lower end of the spectrum, not the higher end, but it was still like, actually maybe it's in my top 11, just because it's like it's worth a watch just once, just to kind of see the
Yeah.
ideas expressed. If you like Gene Roddenberry shit, right?
Well, that's one of the reasons why I get kind of annoyed with what happened with Doctor Who. It's like it's been on for so long,
Mm.
and they finally ruined it. Like,
Yeah,
it
I
was
stopped
one
watching
of the
Doctor
concepts
Who.
that was so good, so well executed, and then they got shit writers and they fucked it up.
To be fair, Doctor Who always had shit writers. I'm gonna go grab a drink real quick.
Yeah, but they made it fun, and that was the
Oh,
thing
you-
I always liked. Was
Yeah.
they made it fun.
Like, all right, Davros as a fucking villain, right? Like, he's so fucking iconic to me in my mind, right? He is fucking terrifying as a concept, right?
Oh
And I
yeah,
love that shit. Yeah, no, I fucking think he's a great
going
character.
that far with things like,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Oh yeah, man. I like that's basically they turned that shit into full fucking body horror, right? And this is before they had the effects to really make it effective. And he's a very intimidating character. Like even though he's just a cripple in a fucking wheelchair, right? Like, but like when I was growing
Hey,
up,
I'm
like
gonna be
fucking,
one of those cripples in a wheelchair someday.
growing up and watching the fucking Dalek episodes of Doctor Who, right? When I was like, from
When
like
we
the
were
old '70s
little.
ones,
Yeah.
when we were little, right? Those are some of the best fucking sci-fi I'd seen up to that point. Now I look back upon it, I'm like, okay, yeah, it's kind of novel, right? But I don't watch the new Doctor Who at all. All my friends back in England do, and they try to talk to me about it. I'm just like, mate, I don't care.
Yeah,
Like,
but
I-
like, I
it's
literally
way
just
too cheesy.
lay it out this way. It's like they remove the fun part of it. There's no point in watching it anymore. Like cheesy is fine in moderation.
It's way too
But
cheesy.
they've gotten rid of even some of like the canon. Like now they literally, it's like, okay, we know who all the doctors were up until this point. Now, nope, no more. They decided, yeah, we changed our mind. We're gonna now suddenly have a new doctor that fits in there, completely fucking up canon that would not be correct. And they don't care. And it's like, this is so dumb.
See, JoJo's did stuff like that right because fucking basically
Like, if you're
JoJo's
gonna
got to the
fuck
point.
with canon, at least, have it make sense why. Don't just do it for the sake of doing it.
Yeah, but like I said with JoJo's, right? Basically, Araki wrote himself into a corner with the villains becoming too powerful. Like fucking, they had the whole universe reset. I'm spoiling JoJo's. Fuck you, because
Yeah, I
if
don't
you haven't,
really care. I'm never gonna watch it anyways. So
well, for the people who give a shit, right? Yeah, basically, JoJo's canon basically terminates at a certain point, and then they kind of just go back in time and start all over again. But then that's when you realize the whole story becomes much bigger, right? It's the original story's still valid. It's just that we're telling other stories now in a whole different context, and so that's fine because they established that basically at the end of the first canon, that everything is like basically completely reset anyway. It's all been undone, so we can then move on to new shit, right? And if you understand it like that, then yeah, it makes sense. Then because it's like we couldn't take this idea anywhere else, so let's go take a step back and reintroduce some of the original ideas that he wanted to do. And it does. Maybe it doesn't work. Maybe it does. Just that's your opinion, you know. Um, I like the fucking the speed the steel ball run because basically they went back and tried to do the original kind of ideas with JoJo, but some of the modern context in there. I was like, I like that shit, right? It's like, all right,
yeah,
I see where you're going with
there's
this.
a time and a place for that, and it can sometimes work really well.
Yeah, and they gave them a chance to make a really cool villain, right? Like fucking like it just yeah, his power is really interesting compared to the other villains. Like people like rag on fucking the Force story arc because they go from a guy who can basically control all the time, right, to a guy who just fucking blows people up, right? It's like, yeah, okay, he doesn't have as stupendous of an ability, but in the context they have him in, he's actually a serious threat because he's like using that to effectively be a sick fuck, right? So context switching's good. It has to be done the right way, right? And with JoJo's, it's always about pushing your suspension of disbelief anyway, so that's why they can get away with it. But something like Doctor Who, where it's really not, but the whole point of it back in the day was basically to explore more complicated ideas than we could express in our real world, then it doesn't work because they have all this established bullshit that happened, right?
Yep.
Yeah, and you incur a great cost in getting rid of everything that you've already established.
Yeah, and that's the issue I have with it. That's why I lost interest. It's like, no, this would never have existed in this just never would have happened.
I stopped watching Doctor Who after some. I think I was about 10 when I stopped watching Doctor Who. I watched one of there was the one they played at the Millennium. They played a feature length Doctor Who episode, and that was pretty good. But it wasn't enough to get me back into it because I like the Master. Every time they have the Master in a story, those are the only ones I now watch. Right, where I'm just like, I love the Master.
He is definitely another one of those fascinating characters.
Yeah, he's such an interesting character. He makes it watchable, and just like
that's why he's always been one of my favorite villains. So
right, like he's the perfect foil for that kind of character, right?
Yeah, and that's why it's in my top 3 series because it's like you need villains that are willing to cross certain lines.
The Master is basically Doctor Who's shadow. Effectively,
that's one of the reasons why I always liked Kafka in Final Fantasy so much. It's because he's willing to cross certain lines that you don't typically see in film, books, things like that, where it's like, no, I'm just gonna outright murder them all. I don't care.
Yeah, like that. Yeah, Final Fantasy.
People don't want to talk about that. It's like, no, if I was the bad guy, I'd fucking do that.
I love the ending of Super Hydlide, or rather the Hydlide series in general. It's a really old one. People fucking hate this series. Fuck you, I know. All right, but I like the story of it. Basically, it starts off as basically a traditional RPG. You go kill the villain and fucking done. And in the final part, the space memories, basically you go kill the villain, and you actually doom everyone to die because the main villain is actually the creator of the universe, and if he dies, the entire universe dies with him. And
that was actually something that was pulled once in a D&D campaign back in the day.
Yeah, it's one of those, right?
I fucking loved it. because it's like, yeah, it's a little predictable, but at the same time, it's one of those when it's done right. It's just so good.
Yeah, they don't establish it at all as well. It just happens. That basically you kill the villains, like, yeah, we're fucked now. It's like, oh, and that's where the game, that entire series ends there, and they never made another one.
Oh yeah,
Well, they made
like
virtual
when the
highlight
campaign
bits.
ended, we literally are just in nothingness. And it's like, yep, congratulations, you fucked up.
Yeah, like they could have
It's
gone
like,
the
well.
traditional. They could have gone the traditional. Oh well, you defeated the villain, because this was the time. This was around the time of like that kind of RPG, and they decided to go completely the other way with it out of nowhere. It was like, oh, holy shit. Okay. So it's why I keep going back to it. Like, even though it's a shit game, it has a really interesting concept in terms of, like, it has poor execution, definitely, but it has a very interesting set of concepts that a lot of games like take for granted now. Like Skyrim has a weight system. Highlight had that back in '85, right? Like fucking, it
With
basically
video games, there's so much other series have done. Even the Nemesis system that was done in the Lord of the Rings ones that not Disney, Warner Brothers was involved with. Like, everything with those was already done. Like, there's nothing new there.
Yeah, this is why I wasn't.
It's a new execution of what was done before, but that's it.
Yeah, that's why I wasn't impressed with the original Zelda when it came out. Like, because I'd already seen it. It was basically, it wasn't really any different than the other games at the time. The only thing it really did differently, it was very technically impressive on the final dungeon, because the final dungeon is massive. It's actually about half the size of the rest of the game. So, like, yeah, that's impressive in a technical way, because it's just such a massive experience. But the rest of the game was very straightforward. It was actually a lot simpler than other RPGs at the time. I think that's why people like it, but I don't like it for that reason, because, I played D&D when I was a kid, where it's actually very complicated.
No,
right?
I played Ultima, which had like a lot more depth to it too. So.
Oh yeah, I don't consider Zelda an RPG in that regard. It's more really close to
It's
a
an
platformer
adventure
game. It's an adventure game, yeah.
That's all it is. It's still a fun adventure game. I'm not gonna.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not saying. Yeah, I'm not saying that it's not fun. Like, Wind Waker is very fun. I like that one. I still on occasion boot up Link's Awakening, because it's just an easily accessible game that's fun, and there's a lot you can do in it. Like you can game break it very easily and just fuck around. It totally supports that, but also it's got, like,
Yeah, Link to the Past is the one that I always still go back to, just because.
Yeah, most people do.
It's so accessible and it's so fun and chill. And...
See, that one's where
better. You even have the RNG mod for it. The random.
Oh yeah, I've heard of that. Yeah.
And that actually like adds some nice replayability to it, because it becomes then more of a roguelike.
The fucking the ones for the Game Boy Color, Oracle of Seasons and Oracle of Ages, I fucking love those.
Ages was so much fun. I played the hell out of that one.
Yeah, that's the game I learned how to do console game hacking with, because me and my friend figured out how the password system works, so we could get all the rings.
Why am I not surprised?
Yeah. Well, yeah. So I still go back to those, and like, people forget about those, like, and it's like, they're great. They tie together well, right? If you they're like Pokemon in that regard. If you have both versions, you get extra content.
It's true.
I mean, it's not a lot of extra content, but there's like, there's a little bit extra built on top of it, right? But they have pretty decent stories too. Like, the one Oracle of Ages has a really interesting story where basically it's like Highlight in that regard, where, if you do a certain thing in the story, it fucks up other things, right? Except it's not nearly as permanent. But still, it's like they took a couple of risks with those. It's definitely more forgiving, because it's a Zelda game, of course. They're not gonna they don't do shit like that in Zelda too often, right? So they've been, with the more modern ones, they've been doing it, but like historically, yeah, they've just been very safe with it.
Back then too, there was also a lot more limitations tech-wise.
Sure. Capcom did a really good job with those games. It was one of the times that Nintendo actually offloaded to one of their third parties, and because Capcom developed those games with under licensing, which is pretty sweet. But yeah, all they did was just build upon what Link's Awakening already did, and they just make it more complicated, which is appreciated. I appreciate the complication with it because it makes it interesting. I go
That
back
was
to those
fun.
ones.
Like
Oh yeah. Oh
ridiculously
hell
so.
yeah. Yeah, on occasion I will boot up those games and just play them through, and then go and take my password save and transfer it over to the other one and continue it. And on occasion, go it
Yeah,
back.
I keep all
That was a fun mechanic.
most of those actually on my phone,
Hmm.
so I can play them at any time because I still have the cartridges sitting there in the closet.
Yeah.
In this room, just sitting there in storage.
Yeah, they were great games. I mean, like, and they're highly playable, right? But like they're not deep. They don't have to be deep, right? But like,
Well, when you just want something chill to play as you
hmm.
are just crawled in the bed and you want to fall asleep quickly, and you don't feel like reading a book,
Hmm.
they're kind of nice. They're
Yeah,
optimal.
just play it. You can play like half of a dungeon and do what you got to do. Save state it, go to bed, come back to it later on, right? They're accessible in that way now because we have that. I mean,
It's so
even
nice.
yeah, I know, right? Like everyone bitches at me for using save states, right? And like some games I wouldn't have been able to beat without them. Like
I
what's the
just like it because I can play based on my schedule, which is
yeah.
I wouldn't call it a schedule. It's a
I wouldn't-
horror.
I wouldn't have been able to beat Shadow of the Beast for the I don't know if you ever heard of that game,
Oh yeah,
but I wouldn't be able
I've
to.
heard of it.
Oh fuck, it's hard. It's a hard game. Basically, it's not quite one hit death for anyone who's not played it, but it might as well be
Oh yeah,
because
like I've been doing Code Vein, and there are spots where it's like, no, if you miss one dodge, you're just
Mhm.
fucked.
yeah, with Shadow of the Beast, right? If you it's extremely unforgiving. It doesn't have invulnerability frames, so if you are standing next to an enemy touching it with by 1 pixel, you'll instantly die if you don't fucking have really quick reflexes.
I think that's one of the appeal of Souls-like games is it has that aspect, and people
Mm.
seem to really be attracted to it. And it's like, okay,
Yeah, I can see the appeal, right? But I could not beat that game when I was a kid. I could only ever get to the part where you fuck. Basically, when you get out of the well, because the well is fucking tough as nails, right?
yes.
It's so like that's how most people remember the game. They're like, oh yeah, I got past the well. Like, what did you get to the next part? Like, wait, but there's a next part. The fuck? Like, there's a level 2. Like,
Wait, there's
Is it-
more I gotta do. Fuck.
I think it was one of the first games that actually expects you to go left at the beginning of the level instead of right. Every other fucking video game at that point makes you start on the left-hand side and makes you go right. Shadow of the Beast actually starts you in sort of the middle and makes you go left instead.
Well, that's one of the things I was like about Binding of Isaac. Is as a roguelike game, there's certain things it does that's atypical.
Mm.
And I think that's one of the reasons why it's better than Enter the Gungeon and some of these other ones. Because it's like, nope, we're going to do this shit and we're going to do it in a way that nobody expects and just run with it, but it works.
Sure, no,
And it works
I can
so
tell, I
fucking
can
well.
totally, yeah, I can totally get buy-in for that. I can understand the appeal of a game like The Binding of Isaac. I've never played it. I don't have time for it.
I have put
like
like 1,000 hours into that series.
Sure. No, I believe it. When I was still married, my husband played it, so I know I'd ask him what the appeal of it is. He's like, oh yeah, it's just really fun. Like I can come back to it and keep coming back to it, and it's like,
Well,
all right.
that's one of the reasons why roguelikes have always been one of my favorite
Mm.
genres ever since I was little. It's simplicity and replayability,
Mm.
but with the flexibility with good developers where you can do so much with it.
See, that's why I'm playing. I've gone back to Dead Rising 3 again. I'm playing it again because, of course, I am. Like I want to play the whole Dead Rising series, but like
I still have not played through all of 4 yet. That's the only one I haven't done.
because
And from what
I've
I
only ever
hear
played this
is
one.
it's really bad. And like my dad's beaten it. And yes, I know I talk about my dad. He's like Even though I don't get along with my biological family, at least gaming's the one thing we can talk about and not get into
Hey man,
fights.
find your way in. All right, find your way in. All right.
I will take any win I can get. And
No,
he is
no,
an
for real.
enabler when it comes to it, and I will be forever grateful about that. But that
Yeah, like-
series, it started rough with really bad choices with certain things, but they turned it around, and I'm so glad. But
Yeah,
the
like I'm glad
is not in it, not like by roguelikes. It's just the way it is.
I'm really glad that we're by the third one, because that's the one I started with. And I'm gonna go back and play the other ones, but probably not play them as much. Just kind of I want to get some context right. But like with the third one, it uses like
Well, the
like
third one
tons
you
of
have,
mechanics.
if I remember correctly, that's a different character than Frank from the first one. And
Well, the second one has a different character,
oh,
so
the second
each one.
one's the one, yeah.
Yeah. But like the third one, basically it uses a lot of like mechanics that have already been done, but it uses them really, really well. Like the ragdoll physics is done really fucking amazing. Like so, what the game is very self-aware of that as well. So when zombies grab onto your car and you're driving around in the car, you have to take advantage of ragdoll physics to get them off your car. So basically, one of the instructions is like, do anything you can to get zombies off your car. Crash into walls, fucking swerve your car, fucking do all like stop and go. But like basically, because it's taking advantage of the ragdoll physics engine, and it's fucking like so
Yeah.
much fun. It does it basically has destructible characters. So like when you're killing zombies, if you like use a sword, bladed weapon versus say a blunt weapon, you can accidentally slice their limbs off, and then they crawl on the floor if they haven't got legs and things like that. And it basically it's like it responds to the things you do, and I fucking love that. And then the crafting system is something else. Just the sheer flexibility of all the game's systems in tandem, it makes it a fucking joy to play. I keep coming back to it. And then the final part of it that really impresses me is the fact it's a really big map. It's not like Grand Theft Auto sized maps, but it's still really large. But the thing I like about it is they designed most of the game as if it was a real city. So like, I mean, it's got like some video game shit in it, sure, right? But like, instead of basically like most video games that would develop a city like a video game, they developed a city, then put video game shit in it, right? So there's a couple of like, there's basically platforms make sense in that world where you have to do a little bit of platforming, right? It's not like they just float in midair, you know?
Yeah.
But like there's definitely ridiculousness involved, right? It definitely is self-aware enough to know when to be ridiculous and when to be grounded, and that's why I keep coming back to it. Like it's so much fun. Like there's one mission you can do where you fucking have a foot race against a guy in a zombie outbreak, where it's just like, okay, if this is a real zombie outbreak, probably wouldn't happen. On the other hand, I can totally see that one guy being fucking so crazy just to give a shit. Like
My favorite part, though, forever in that series is the complete ridiculousness when it comes to the weapon creation.
oh yeah, no,
'Cause
absolutely.
They just have such silliness.
Oh god.
And
No,
it's
and
like,
like
I don't blame them because I would fucking too.
When I got the fucking dildo cannon, you get a fucking dildo cannon. Spoiler alert. When I got the fucking dildo cannon, I laughed my ass off for about 5 minutes. I had to pause the game because it realized it shoots fucking cum. So like it shoots fucking white goo all over the place, and when the dildos hit something, they just flop around and splat, and it fucking sends white goo all over them. And I was just like, all right,
Yes,
I'm
but
done.
It's so
I'm,
good.
Yeah, but it's so fucking good, right? I was like, oh my god, the game knows what it is. Thank you, well done. It didn't pull any punches on the delivery of what it is. I fucking love that.
Yeah, it's a game
I was-
that does not take itself too seriously.
No, but like it presents itself really well. Like I keep noticing that like the skin textures on characters are done really well. Like you can see individual pores on their skin when they do close-ups, right? And just that's
Yeah.
the technical ability of the game is also really impressive. Like it basically does that Dynasty Warriors thing where it has a bunch of generic character models around, but there's so fucking many of them. It's kind of like it's really impressive to see. And it's
No,
not like
they've
so
done a
generic
lot
as
of good
Dynasty
work with
Warriors.
it.
Oh yeah, no, for real. Like
It's underrated by some people. But
yeah, I've heard bad things about the fourth one as well. Like I want to try it out because like I enjoyed the third one. I'm doing the side stories now, all the DLC shit, and I'm liking that. I like that. But it's more of the same. And I'm like, okay, well maybe I want to see if they develop this idea further, where they take it, and I want to see where it came from as well because I've heard things about the second one that's really good. Then maybe not so much the first one. The first one was really a product of its time, whereas like the third one feels more timeless in that regard. I mean, it's like how old? It's like 2013 is when it was released. I think it's like 8 years old now, right? And still holds up. Good game.
Trying to think, but nothing happens.
Yeah. I do like in the third one they actually explain the plot of the first two games in the game in a way that's.
Yeah.
Well, it's not even as you go through. They have a specific part of the game where you go to a museum that basically is one of the exhibits is effectively the previous two games. So there's a little bit of things that they leave out because they don't want to explain the entirety of the previous two plots, but they give you enough of that to be like, oh, okay. So when they're talking about this thing, that's where it's coming from. It's like it's not that doesn't come out of nowhere, right? But you have to kind of go out of your way to find those things, right? Like. There's a lot of that in the game. Tons of shit. Most of the actual game is very short. The rest of the game, the true value of the game is going and doing the shit in the city, right? There's a whole fucking wide city you can do shit in. Why would you not want to do it, right?
I always look at it as they kind of explain it throughout it. If with just some of the details, it may not be completely obvious, but you kind of get a good grasp on it just by going through it.
Oh yeah, no, it's a very well designed game. Like very, very, very fun. So I've been recommending that one for a couple of years now. If you haven't played it, and I did see the movies as well. There's two movies. They're not great movies.
I haven't bothered with the movies.
Oh my god.
Can't bring myself to.
Okay, here's the thing. They are definitely fan service movies. All right, for real. Like it's
Whoa,
you know how.
shocking.
No. Here's the thing. You know how like they make video game movies and they basically change a whole bunch about it and it's really just a wrapper around
like
the property.
the Resident Evil movies. Like it's just fan service for those who aren't like deep into the lore.
Okay, this is the exact opposite of that. This is fan service for people who actually like the fucking series. It basically is a movie version of the video games. So like when I saw who they chose for Frank West.
Curses ridiculously.
Oh god, dude. They have a fucking
Please.
bit. So basically, Frank West's role in it is basically as a consultant, and they bring him on like a live news during the zombie outbreak, so the people in the zombie outbreak can watch him, and he gives them advice, right? And so when they chose Rob Riggle to play fucking Frank West,
God, no.
they did, and it's done in the way of basically the same way that fucking Metal Gear Solid 4's intro works, where basically it's the TV scene, the TV cutscenes, basically.
Rip us.
Yeah, it's
laughing because it's just that.
But the thing is, it's a comedy, right? So it's fucking so goddamn funny. Fucking Rob Riggle's basically like they like have the news anchor on, and she's like, so Frank West, you know, what advice would you give the people in this pandemic right now? And he's like, you people are fucked. Just straight up says it. I'm just like, that's fucking awesome. That's my Frank West right there. He just crushes it.
Frank West is such an underrated character.
Oh, I know. Oh, fuck
like
me.
He's a journalist. You already can't take him seriously, but it's like, I don't care.
Yeah, I would give those movies a chance. At least the first one. The second one's just more of the same. Like basically, it does pretty much everything the games does and takes the piss out of it, because that's what those games are all about. Yeah, so I would. It's not the best movie, but if you enjoy that series and you enjoy the mechanics of it, it's really more just a passive version of that instead of having to be actively involved. Hang on, I'll be right back. But I'm still on audio, so I can hear you. So my allergies have been going off like fucking mental.
We're actually getting close to the ending.
Yeah.
Actually, now that I realize it.
We do a lot of personal catch-ups.
I've just been sitting here gaming while talking because, yeah, fuck it, why not?
Fuck it, why not? Yeah, we've been all over the place in this stream, but it's a good one. But yeah, like
it's important to just, have chill ones, so.
I'd rather do this than talk about fucking some spastic on the internet, right? For real. Like, I don't want to talk about some dude like who I don't know or fucking don't care about, right?
It's
Our audience
true.
might care about it, right? Sure, but go off and watch that elsewhere, right? There's
There we
tons of
go.
other
I
people
already
cover
got
that.
10 achievements out of 26 on this one game. And it literally just came out. So.
Nice one.
Yeah, I
I
just
don't
wish I
even know
had
what game
people
I'm
to
gonna-
play it with. Because, honestly, this game is probably at its best with co-op, just based upon
Mhm.
playing it. It's called Tribes of Midgard.
Okay.
And each time you play, the map is RNG, like a roguelike. But it plays like an action-adventure, but you also have the survival aspect of protecting your hometown and base.
Okay. It sounds very similar to, at least in terms of execution, to ActRaiser, where basically it's a multiple genre game, and it kind
Yeah.
of combines them all very well.
ActRaiser was side-scroller, this one's isometric.
Yeah, ActRaiser was also top down. It has because it has multiple gameplay modes. Because it has the whole like
Oh, I don't remember
city
the
building.
top-down ones.
Well, no, it's part of the level. It's basically the levels are side-scrolling levels, and then fucking it has like the whole like management kind of mini game
Yeah,
where you
like
have
the
to like
management
actually
in this one is you using souls to upgrade shit, things like
Yeah.
that. You're crafting shit.
yeah. Another a
With the
game that's
proof
actually
gear and-
there's actually a multi-genre game that is on the Sega Saturn because apparently Sega Saturn's getting a whole bunch of love these days because people have been finding beta ROMs and like fucking all that shit, right? So there's a game called Dark
Yeah.
Savior, and people like fucking games journalists are fucking stupid. They don't know what the fuck they're talking about. I saw this thing.
Hey,
It was
Soph, you heard it here first. You don't know what you're talking about.
yeah, fuck you, bitch. But I saw this article written about how Dark Savior needs a remake, right? Because basically they're talking about how all these basically they didn't know they got everything about the fucking thing wrong, right? They're like, oh, but they basically like one of the things they said was you can unlock all of the scenarios by beating the game within a certain amount of time. That's not actually true. It's beating you have to beat the introduction within a certain amount of time. Because the timer indicates this through that's why you are timed in the beginning of the game, right? It actually like
Yeah.
right. I play the shit out of this game. It's one of my favorite fucking multi-genre games, and they're complaining about things that were asked for by fans of the game that came before it. It's actually a semi-sequel to another game. So like we need to get like they're like, oh, it's an isometric game, and I'm like, no, it's not. It's a fully 3D game. The whole like the entire they're like they need to change this so it's a fully 3D game. Like A, it already is, and B, the fact it looks like an isometric game because the entire game's puzzles rely on that fucking knowledge, right? Basically, you have to rotate the camera in order to see the puzzles in the game. That's the fucking point. If they remade it where it was just a standard fucking 3D camera, none of the fucking game's shit would work anymore. Remaking it would be a detriment.
Yeah, but some people don't realize that anymore.
Yeah,
They're
like they don't
idiots.
know. No, this is what like remakes of
Plain and
games
simple.
are fucking infuriating. Could you just you lose something in translation, right?
Typically, yes.
Yeah.
Sometimes no, but that's few and far between.
You'll always lose something. You can never redo the original idea. Like it just there's always something that cannot be brought in through whatever reason. They can't like you can't bring in the original music when maybe that was a big part of the original game, right? Maybe there's a specific thing you can't talk about now because it's taboo. Like maybe this mechanic doesn't work anymore because it was a product of its time, and bringing that forward, just doesn't it just doesn't age well. Like I saw a lot of buzz about remaking Legend of Dragoon, and I'm like, why?
No.
Don't remake it. You'll lose the charm of what made that game so unique. They'll just make it a standard fucking like a bog standard RPG and fuck it up, right? Like I'm playing through that game. I fucking love it. It's a slow crawl. I mean, it's not even like it's a snail's pace crawl. It's kind of painful to play in that way, but I kind of appreciate it because I can just like whatever, right? I don't have to remember a bunch of shit about the game when I come back to it. It's like, oh, okay, whatever. The only thing I ever have to remember is the Stardust, and that's it. Let's fucking, and then that's easy to catch up on. But like, yeah, don't remake that fucking game. Like I saw someone was suggesting that they should make it into an anime, and I'm like, that would probably be a better adaptation of the idea.
Well, they did
'Cause-
that with Castlevania, and
Mm.
it worked.
Oh yeah, Castlevania is fucking great as an anime.
Like that worked so splendidly well. Like, yeah,
Mm.
instead of remaking Castlevania and just doing similar games like Bloodborne and others, and just doing the anime, infinitely the best choice ever done. Like, that's the right way of handling the IP.
Yeah,
Don't disappoint
basic-
fans. Don't ruin the series.
I like how it ties into the rest of the series as well. It doesn't try to like undo parts that already exist. It just kind of builds upon that by setting it in before the events of the rest of the Castlevania series.
Yeah,
That's
and
kinda
it
cool.
Actually,
Yeah,
had
that's-
parts of it that was actually, it's like, you know, I kind of almost want a game that is set during this period because it would be kind of fun.
Hmm.
Like, that's
Yeah.
how good the writing was. It's like, this is good.
It answers a lot of questions about like Castlevania that just kind of taken for granted. Like, there's a lot of Egyptian stuff in Castlevania you may have noticed, and I never quite got why they introduced it at all. And then in the anime, they just basically answered that really quickly with visual storytelling. That basically there are vampires all over the world.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons why, like,
Hmm.
I highly always recommend the 2012 Dread movie, because
Hmm.
instead of trying to redo what was done with Sylvester Stallone,
Hmm.
we're going to take a story about Judge Dredd, a day in his life, and we're just going to tell this story and tell it well. No bullshit, no frills, and it's so perfect.
I do like the visual storytelling with the drugs that they do in there, like the whole like drug mechanic.
The slow-mo,
Like-
yes.
Yeah, I like that, and I can see why they wanted to film it in 3D because they use the 3D as a story mechanic rather than just having it be a special effect. And
Yeah.
that, like, I didn't see it in 3D, but I
And
can
seeing
see
the
watching it in
funkiness
3D.
with how that medication changed your perception of time. Spoiler.
Hmm.
Although you can tell from the name of it, it's not really a spoiler.
Yeah, it's not really a spoiler because they do explain it early on. They just don't show it to you till much later on.
But seeing it was just, it was so cool.
It was one of the best uses of 3D cameras of that time.
Yeah,
Like,
and like the first thing that crossed my mind, it's like Max Payne.
Hmm.
But movie.
no, I very much
Because of
enjoyed
how
that.
the slow-mo was. And so it's just like, this is so cool.
I very much enjoyed that movie. I don't know why people were
Well, the
We're up
issue
the arse
was
of it.
they did not market the movie, so it didn't do very successful. It sold
Okay.
like 750,000 copies of the DVD very quickly, which is
Yeah.
fantastic.
Mm.
That is just breathtaking. But then they just never bothered to do a sequel, and it's like, why? You did so good. The lead actor was perfect. He was fucking.
Oh, Carl Urban. Oh, he's my bae.
He's hot. You
Oh,
never
he's hot.
actually see his face though.
He's a believable Judge Dredd. All right, for real.
But
Like
yeah, he played the character so.
okay.
To quote the Archer TV series, sploosh.
The
Just saying.
twist that they did. I'm not going to spoil it because if you haven't seen it, I'm not going to ruin it for you. But the twist they do, I didn't actually see that coming at all. Like a lot of twists I see coming just because like I pay attention to the shit that's happening. Like in Signs, I totally saw the whole thing
Oh, God,
happening
that was
from the very
predictable as fuck.
basic. They show you it in the fucking very first shot of the movie, right? Like it beats you over the head with its twist, right? Saw it coming a mile away. I was watching Invincible, because everyone recommended that, and thank you for recommending it. It was okay. I enjoyed it. It wasn't like as great as everyone made it out to be. I saw basically the whole like. I guess that one's one that beats you over the head, like with it basically, Superman fucking evil effectively. But which that's not even a spoiler. That happens in the first episode, right? So fuck you. But I totally called the entire ending of that of the show. I'm not familiar with the original source, so I don't know. But I basically called it like basically within the first 5 minutes. The second he mentioned he was from another planet, I was like, oh no, I know exactly what's happening. I already know what this fucking story's about. Totally done. It was really more about enjoying the journey, which I did. I did enjoy that
There's
quite
no
a
way
bit.
not to with that one.
No, that one's really fun. All right, I'm gonna say that. Like, just
Sick.
because you have a twist right at the end and it's predictable doesn't make the rest of your journey bad, right? It's just that even when how they reveal the twist is actually quite enjoyable, but it was very predictable, like because it beats you in the face with it, right?
True.
Right? It does. It's so painful about how it goes about it, but like. And there's a bit of cringe moments when they start talking about the fucking like social issues shit that's going on, but they didn't overdo it, so it's forgivable. It wasn't like say, oh I don't know, He-Man,
Semi-forgivable.
or like which is just punching you in the face fucking hard with its messaging. Yeah, that's fucking terrible. Terrible fucking adaptation. I hope they fucking have effigies of Kevin Smith just to fucking show him like, yeah, don't stop fucking around. It's like, remember you used to be good, and it's like, oh yeah, that's right. You can't remember a thing that never happened. Sorry, I used to be a fan of Kevin Smith up until I realized he kind of sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Although I got the Clerk animated series, it's probably the best thing he ever did, and it's also his most like least viewed work. It's a self-aware piss take of Clerks, but like, yeah, and it has Charles Barkley in it for no fucking reason other than the fact that they could just get Charles Barkley. I mean, it has some really good fucking humor in it, but like it's so just they only ever show 2 episodes of it. I don't know. Kevin Smith, you can suck a dick, bro. No homo.
All right.
Is that where we're ending the stream? Fucking
Yeah,
call
we're
him and
gonna
yes,
end it
Kevin
right
Smith,
there.
no.
I think
Okay.
I am tired. I am starting to nod off a little bit, even.
All right. Well, it's been good talking to you, bitch. I missed you.
Yeah, I missed you too.
I know. So I'll be doing the cooking streams basically whenever I get some time where I'm not studying. For the people who in the chat who do watch those, because I know we got a little bit of crossover in our audiences.
Don't forget to give her a follow on the
Hey.
YouTubes.
Yeah.
Hit that
Sorry,
red subscribe button over there.
I've been busy as fuck. All right, that's why I haven't been doing it. I haven't even had time to cook properly.
I'm gonna try to stream at least once a week, going forward, even on our off weeks. It's tough though to be motivated still.
I
It's
get
still
well.
very
You've got
weird.
personal shit going on, and fucking I got professional shit going on. Once my situation was
The two of us are half an idiot, and together, our bullshit makes one person with one really complete set of shit.
well, if it makes you feel better, dude, I've actually been talking about this show, right? Out at job interviews, right? I showed fucking people the clip of me getting the ghost raw, right? Fucking because they didn't believe me. They're like, oh my god, you're a Twitch streamer. The interview I'm going for is actually directly related to video production. So they're like, well, what experience do you have with that? And I'm like, well, I do Twitch streams and I do fucking YouTube streams.
She's
right?
on my Twitch stream. You don't do them. I do them. You're just
Hey,
a co-host.
I'm a co-host, right? But I still have to understand stuff about it, right? So, like, I'm not
Well, the
completely
fact that
fucking
you've
out
done
of the loop.
YouTube ones already, helps. So.
Yeah, I've been a co-host on so many other streams, right? It's just whatever, right? But like, I'm getting to the point where I'm getting people in my professional circles to notice now, so we might get some new viewers from that.
I'm
Or
fine with that.
or I might not get this job, right?
One of the things I've always prided myself on is I do my content in a way where I don't care if people in my professional life do end up getting upon it, because I'm not saying anything I don't stand behind.
Oh yeah, no, I'm same way. I talk about that kind of shit all the time. I'm just like, oh yeah, I do. People
So
still
if
ask if I do
prospective
that stuff.
employers see it. Hi. I don't care.
I used to put it on my resume because just in case, like, because I work for these huge corporations and they're like multinationals in some cases, and if some companies they get caught off guard with like that kind of shit, like, oh, you're an internet personality, whatever, right?
I mean,
And I'm
I
like,
leave certain things off from my past because of in current stuff because of obvious reasons.
Mm.
But like this stuff where I just play games and talk and crack jokes and just have fun, I don't care. It's so
Yeah.
chill. Nothing I say is gonna look bad.
Yeah, I basically tell people I make really edgy commentary videos effectively. Like either they're social commentaries or they're just comedy videos for whatever reason. But that's what effectively I've always done on my YouTube channel. And now I've switched from that entirely to go do something else, and I just make cooking streams because that's what I want to do with my
that
channel.
stuff over here.
Yeah, right. Like I was
That's all
like,
it is.
yeah. Like I got sent a video of I'm just gonna kind of end on this. I got sent a video I did fucking forever ago where someone in my professional circle saw it and they're like, "Oh my god, I didn't realize you knew all these people." I was like, "I told you this like 6 years ago, bro. Like, where the fuck have you been?" Like,
Oh yeah, that's like my friends where they like, "How do you know all these people in this particular industry?" It's like, I was in it. I've always
Yeah.
had a connection to it. It's me. I'm very easy to talk to. I may be intimidating, but I'm not someone who like comes off as an asshole.
Yeah.
Ta-da!
Like yeah. So I do appreciate people going through the library of shit that I've done, but on the other hand, like I'm kind of like it's not my job, right? It's just something fun I do, and I do it in my own time. So I want to get back to it. It's just that I have to build my life up again to get ahead, right? So I'm gonna focus on that right now. Just
Yep.
sneeze, I can feel it. Ugh.
So, chat,
Ugh.
I'm going to host Kaz. One, because she's cute. And two, because she's a hoot. I made a rhyme. I'm tired and punchy.
I'm actually getting pretty tired. I was planning on I've got homework to do, but I'll do it tomorrow.
Yeah. I was going to do one other thing tonight. But I'm just going to go straight to bed. And I'll do it first thing in the morning before I go swimming. So.
Yeah,
that
I
works.
don't go swimming on the weekends because all the kids go out there.
If
I
I
wanna avoid
go
them like the plague.
like around 6 in the morning and I stay till like 8, I get 2 hours of nice swimming at the beach. There's maybe 1 or 2 people there. We have the entire lake to ourselves. We can distance. We can relax. We got the nice beach house to take a shower after and be done.
Yeah, I live right by the pool,
It's-
so I hear all the fucking
I
shit.
hate the pool because there are so many people there constantly. From the moment it opens to the moment it closes.
On
And they're all
weekends,
without masks. They're all making a mess.
mm,
It's just, fuck it. I don't care.
on weekends, the only time I can ever get in at the pool is at the very beginning of the day, and you can only get in for like half hour before it gets crowded. So
Yeah,
I
it's
avoid the
not
weekends
worth it.
entirely.
I just
It's
go
not
to the
worth it.
lake. The lake's fantastic.
I just been going during
It's
the week.
beautiful.
I've been trying to work remote
Can't,
so I
because
can do
there's
that.
so many people that work from home still around here that they take breaks and they're always there when I'm home finally.
Yeah,
What do I do?
I've been
You know?
yeah do what you got. Fit it in when you can, right? Like
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's a good way of working out, and it's relaxing.
oh, it's great. It's actually it's been helping me recover from the fatigue because it's a full body workout.
Yeah, it helps with my back, but I can also just lay there and just be like,
Yeah.
and
I've been getting a wet-
snore. So,
Well, check this out. I've been getting a wicked tan, so
yeah.
just not on my face because I wear a sun hat because my face skin is very delicate.
True.
Yeah.
Mine isn't. But then
Yeah,
this
I'm
is
so
also hard as a rock, so.
You set it up, mate.
All right, chat. Go.
Alright.
Feel free to pop over in Kaz's stream if you want. We're not going to raid. We're just going to host.
Mhm.
But
And,
have
yeah.
a wonderful night.
And we'll